What a difference a day makes. Yesterday it was gray and chilly. Today in Western Tennessee, bright sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. A perfect day. Shaping up to be a great day for racing, too, in a city with tremendous culture. It's home to the blues, birthplace of rock and roll. But this weekend, Memphis, Tennessee will host the NASCAR Nationwide Series, replacing this strum of guitars with the revs of engines. Carl Edwards, the winner a year ago, maybe singing a tune of hope as the defending race winner. But there's championship leader Kyle Busch. He's on a roll with a win last week in Charlotte. With the Cup Stars in Martinsville, the Nationwide regulars will take advantage of the split weekend. Who will be singing the blues? And who will be rock and rolling their way to victory lane? It's the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Memphis.
10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
And pre-race festivities continue here on pit road as drivers are mingling, getting ready to be introduced to the crowd here. 250 laps. That's the distance today at this very fast 3/4 mile track. Hello, everybody. Welcome to NASCAR Countdown. I'm Mike Massaro here in the land of the Delta Blues, Memphis, Tennessee. Now, this city, it's been the home of several kings, including the king of rock and roll, of course, that being Elvis Presley, and legendary blues artists. Let's not forget about B.B. King. Today, however, we're looking for a different king, the king of this racetrack, as there's a crown of different sorts up for grabs. This afternoon's race marks the final standalone Nationwide Series race of 2009, which means there's opportunity. Just 5 Sprint Cup Series regulars are in the field, begging the question, can any Nationwide Series only driver capitalize and go to victory lane? Qualifying set the stage earlier this morning, and here's how things played out. And there were some surprises, and this was one of the big ones. Richard Boswell, making his Nationwide Series debut, made a very big splash, qualifying 3rd overall. Now, Scott Wimmer, he's a former winner here in Memphis. He won here back in 2000, put himself in a good position to do it again. He's on the outside of the front row. But this is the guy who stole the show, Justin Allgaier, a speed of just over 118 miles per hour. He wins the pole, is now standing by with Rick DeBrule.
Indeed, Justin Allgaier, congratulations, your very first pole. All right, the first pole's out of the way. What is it going to take to get that first victory here today?
Well, God's definitely blessed us with great weather here in Memphis. It's perfect weather right now, and I think, you know, a good handling race car, you know, conserving the tires. I think that the tires are going to fall off a good bit here, and trying to keep the track position. You know, we've gotten the track position we want. We just got to stay there now. So I'm really proud of the Verizon Wireless guys for getting us up front, and the pit stops last week in Charlotte were unbelievable. So if they can keep doing that, and we can keep the car underneath of us, I think we'll have a good day.
All right, you haven't done much racing here. Have you figured out what is the secret to keeping that track position in terms of having a fast car in this track, high, low, one line, two? What's the story?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you can't overcharge the corners, and you've got to make sure that you can turn the car in the center. And I think the biggest thing is the preferred lane's on the bottom, and if you're there, they're either going to have to move you out of the way or follow you. And hopefully we don't get moved out of the way today. We can stay fast enough where we're not getting the rear bumper cover beat off of it. But if we have to, you know, we're going to go for everything we've got and try to get up there and get up front and not take any chances that we don't need to.
All right, Justin Allgaier now looking for that #1 win. Jack Arute?
Well, Rick, you were talking about the Nationwide regulars. How about the 5 that have come over from Martinsville with the rain? They're led by David Rudeman. The Aaron's Dream Machine over there in Martinsville, you qualified 5th. The rest of the guys way in the back of the pack. Now, how do you parlay what you've done over there and bring the car from the back to the front over here?
Yeah, I don't know if you can. I mean, I think we got a great Aaron's Dream Machine. Trevor Main's done a great job all year in that car, and you know, getting it prepared, and you feel like it's really, really fast. So we got to work cut out for us. A lot of these regulars that are going to be really, really tough here, and plus you got Carl and a lot of other guys in the back that you're going to have to race up through there. So you have to be smart and try to keep the finish on the thing and be there at the end.
It's easy to say you got to be smart until they drop that green flag and you're mired in the back. When does it get too dicey? When does David Rudeman say, whoa, I'm going to wait?
I'm not. Historically, I haven't been a very good person at waiting for some reason. That's and sometimes it's got me in trouble. You just got to. I mean, sometimes it looks like you're taking chances out there and you're really not. You know the car is good and the holes open up and there's plenty of room there. But sometimes when you force the issue, I mean, these cars need fenders on them to be able to be there at the end and drive the way they need to. So hopefully we just stay focused and like I say, Jerry Baxter and the guys done a great job, and hopefully we have another good Aaron's Dream machine here. We have historically had a really good car here.
Good luck, David.
Thanks.
Hey, Mike, watch for these guys to come back to the front. It ought to be worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and he's done well here in the past, so he will be a guy to pay attention to. Now, standalone nationwide races are always regarded as opportunity races, an opportunity for an unfamiliar face to win, and an opportunity just to make the show. 3 drivers today will be making their nationwide series debuts, and that includes RCR developmental driver Blake Cook in the 81, Camping World East driver Matt DiBenedetto is in the 20, and Richard Boswell with Junior Motorsports. Well, he's driving the 5 car and has made a very big impression so far, qualifying 3rd. What's this been like for you?
Oh, it's been a dream weekend. This is something you look forward to since when I was 10 years old racing go-karts, and to be able to come here and drive for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Rick Hendrick is just an unbelievable opportunity, and I've been just trying to have as much fun as possible, and so far so good.
What are the expectations today, considering your limited experience in this type of car?
Yeah, first off, we had to make the race on time. That was the biggest, probably most gut-wrenching part of it, but now that we're through that, we're just going to have some fun. Tony Jr. told me after qualifying that he was proud of me, and to hear those words come out of his mouth, as good a crew chief as he is, just means the world to me. And now we just have to finish this race. If we can get that RCCA member Chevrolet to lap 250 and stay on the lead lap the whole time, we're going to have an awesome finish, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Well, best of luck. And, of course, Richard Boswell, one of several drivers eligible for a little extra bonus money today. The nationwide Dash for Cash bonus program is in effect this week. So who's eligible? All nationwide only drivers plus Cup drivers who run every nationwide race. In other words, the only ineligible drivers today are David Ruderman and Matt Kenseth. Memphis is the 4th and final nationwide Dash for Cash event where a $25,000 bonus will be awarded if an eligible driver wins. If an eligible driver doesn't win, the bonus money rolls over, which is why Brad Keselowski was all smiles in Iowa, picking up a $75,000 bonus. Can he do it again? He's standing by with Rick DeBrule.
Indeed, Iowa was a very good day for Brad Keselowski. It's one of those races, everything just came to him during the course of the race. He did it all well. The result being that he not only won the race, he ended up with one heck of a payday. When he got to Victory Circle, in addition to the regular check, he picked up a $75,000 bonus for that Dash for Cash. And now you've got the chance to do another one, because not only could you win $25,000, but there's another $50,000 bonus out there. Does that kind of thing go through your mind as you get ready for a race?
It will if we're in position on the last lap, that's for sure. So looking forward to it. We've got a great Delphi Chevrolet. It's been a great year with the whole Junior Motorsports team, and to finish it out, if we could win that Dash for Cash, that'd be a good, feel-good end of the year.
All right, now let's talk about this particular race. You're relatively close to the front. Are you close enough to stay out of trouble?
Ooh, trouble can find you really anywhere here, so I don't really think there's one spot that's safe or not safe. So it's going to be a tough race. I think there's going to be a lot of action. The way the tires are, there's a lot of slipping and sliding. So side by side on the double file restarts is going to be a challenge, and I expect a lot of beating and banging, and hopefully we'll survive.
One good adventure, and he's hoping he's there at the end, guys.
Thank you, Rick. With 3 wins this year, Keselowski has been a weekly threat, but Memphis has presented a bit of a challenge for him. In 3 races here, he's never led a lap and has an average finish of 22nd. Time now to go upstairs and get a little perspective from the guys who will be calling today's race. Marty Reed, Rusty Wallace, and Randy LaJoie.
Well, thank you, Michael. And you can tell that we've already touched on a number of key stories that we're going to follow throughout the race day, and we haven't even talked about Kyle Busch or Carl Edwards.
I mean, Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards, look, we know they're going to run good. We'll know they'll probably get from the back to the front. But you better look at Kyle Busch a little bit. He hasn't been here in 5 years, so he has to get out there and kind of figure this track out a little bit. But Carl Edwards, on the other hand, he's got from the back to the front 3 times. And I can tell you one thing, Carl is thinking about points. He's also thinking about how can I get Kyle Busch in a wreck? Because, baby, I got to gain some points today. That's what's on his mind.
Well, of the 3 of us that are up here, only one has ever won a race here, and that's the guy in the middle, Randy LaJoie. You won here in 2001. What's it take to win here?
Well, I got very lucky. I was in position. First and second got to rub it on the second to last lap. I got to go by both of them. But you have to put yourself in that position. That starts on Friday in practice. These guys have to work very hard on the balance of these race cars. You set it up for a short run, you set it up for a long run. The guy set up for the short run last year didn't win the race. He had a lot of trouble with the right front tire. So this race is very difficult. You charge the corners. You have to be very careful with your brakes. We heard guys say the tires drop off. You're going to have to break some rear brake into this thing, help the car turn, stay under the throttle, keep the rear tires under you, and try not to hit nothing, because when you're in a pack of cars, it's totally different than when you're by yourself.
Well, Brad Keselowski mentioned double file restarts. That's something you've been talking about since yesterday.
I really have. I've been concerned about that, Marty and Randy, for a couple days now. I mean, we're at a short track. This is the first time ever for the double file restarts right here at Memphis. And let me tell you what, this whole track down here is a little bit narrow. They're going to get down there and crash. They will crash on those double file restarts. Trust me. Now, what happens is when they crash here, they're going to block the track. That's right. So where do you go? Do you go high? Do you go low? Or do you go anywhere you can go? That's probably what's going to happen.
I like his method.
Close your eyes,
your eyes.
right?
That's it. He mentioned brakes. Well, Tim Brewer filed a report for us from over in Martinsville in the Craftsman Tech Garage on that very subject about brake bias.
One of the adjustments the drivers are going to be making today in Memphis throughout the race is brake bias. The brake bias gauges, we set it prior to the race. We use the gauges to establish where we want to be. But during the race, we're going to use the knob right here, because as the car burns fuel off the rear, you're going to have to transfer brake pedal pressure from the front wheels to the rear wheels. Reason being, you're on the brakes really hard, you get that pressure off the front, enables the car to turn down in the corner, and the driver's going to be using this all day here in Memphis.
And thank you, Tim. And there's a look at the defending winner of this race, Carl Edwards. A year ago, he picked up the Memphis victory. Hear what he says he needs to do to defend his title. We'll have that interview plus so much more coming up here on NASCAR Countdown. Go pink or go home. That's been the theme of several charitable efforts going on here in Memphis this weekend. As part of today's Kroger on the track for the Cure 250, some cars have gone completely pink. Remember, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and NASCAR is definitely helping the effort here in Memphis. That's Scott Wimmer, and of course you saw Carl Edwards as well. Here are some of the other headlines this week. Tony Eury Jr. is back. Eury replaces Brian Campy as the crew chief of the 5 in the junior motorsports entry. Already made a pretty big splash with Richard Boswell qualifying third. The 16 team was hit with a very big penalty this week for violations related to the sealed engine rule. Crew chief Eddie Pardue was fined $30,000. Car owner Jack Roush and driver Matt Kenseth were each docked 100 points. And it's a big week for the Wallace family, as Chrissy and Mike Wallace are both entered in the Talladega Truck Series race, marking the first time a father and daughter combination have raced against each other in a National Touring Series event. Potential. It can be a blessing or it can be a curse. Landon Castle has potential. He proved that last year by winning the Rookie of the Year title in the Nationwide Series. Unfortunately for him, however, expectations were not fulfilled. Consequently, he's been absent from the Nationwide Series throughout the course of 2009. That is, until today. Right now, he's standing with Jack Arute.
And for Landon Castle, this is an opportunity to get back into the limelight. How long have you been thinking about this chance?
It's just exciting to be back here. I've been going all the races all year, and just blessed to have this opportunity, and really thankful that James Finch and Phoenix Racing has given me the chance.
Let's talk a little bit about the changing weather conditions. You practiced, you qualified. The track temperature was down in the 50s. It was very difficult to get to the 60s. Now we're approaching 70 degrees. Does that change anything in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I mean, it's still cool out for a normal Memphis race, but it's definitely going to change. I mean, we practiced yesterday and really cold, and then this morning, even qualifying, we saw kind of a swing of temperature change. And so the biggest part is just going to get the field sorted out and get in line and get rolling, and we'll just have to work on the car accordingly. But, you know, we had in the back of our mind yesterday that the track might get a little bit slicker today, but hopefully the balance stays the same.
On a football Saturday, they say that sometimes a quarterback getting out of a game gets to see it from a different perspective. How about when a driver has to sit out and then get back?
No, absolutely. You know, from sitting for so many months, but still going to the racetrack, I kind of have a different angle to see, you know, how everything goes on at the racetrack, and I definitely have a new appreciation to, you know, for what these sponsors do for our sport, and everybody behind the scenes, all the PR reps, and even the teams and the work that's put into the race car. You know, you see a lot more than just being the driver and showing up at the racetrack, and and playing in the celebrity role. I mean, you definitely have to work for it now, and I'm glad that I've seen it from this angle, but I'm ready to get back in the seat.
Here's hoping your playbook's a winning one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rick?
Well, let's talk with another driver who qualified well on the front row, Scott Wimmer. You know, you talk to drivers, you always say, what's your favorite track? It's any track I've won on. You won here back in 2002. Does that mean this qualifies?
Oh, yeah. Memphis has been a real special place. I've been coming here since 2000 with the ASA cars. So I'm a short track racer. These are places I really like to race at, so hopefully I'll have a good run today.
All right, now you're flying the pink colors. You've got the breast cancer awareness colors on your car this month, this particular race, and you say this has a personal connection to you as well.
Yeah, it definitely does. I got to thank Stop Repair Bills for letting us do this, let us run in a pink car. My family, my sister was diagnosed about 5 years ago with breast cancer, and then my mother 2 years ago, and thankfully they made it through that, and it's really about awareness, getting the word out there. Hopefully we put that car in victory lane. That'll be a good word for all the survivors, and people need to go out and get checked.
All right, Scott Wimmer out here, hoping things go well for the rest of the day so we can, A, get back to winning here, and B, make a great statement for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mike?
And certainly there's no lack of inspiration for Scott Wimmer. Hey, what a year it's been for Mike Bliss. He does have a victory and maintains a position among the top 10 in points, but he's had to do it while driving 6 different cars. After being released from the one car in August, he's pieced together a season that's had him hopping from seat to seat. Still, he hasn't missed a race. Been a pretty good year for Mike Bliss, and there's Mike now getting ready to buckle into the 11 car today. Certainly reason for optimism. Both times he's driven the 11 this season, he's finished second. Those performances came at Dover a few weeks back and Lowe's Motor Speedway last Friday night. Now, Bliss may be a dark horse contender today, but this guy is a straight-up favorite. In 4 Memphis races, Carl Edwards has finished outside the top 5 just once. Because Augie Vidovich qualified his car, though, he'll need to start at the rear today. However, as we saw last year, that didn't stop Edwards from putting on a show in a race that was full of fireworks.
And here comes Carl Edwards. From the back to the front, once again, Carl Edwards making the move.
Give Carl Edwards all the credit in the world. Sitting in a car that he didn't practice or qualify, Carl Edwards is our new leader, and he did it with ease.
Points leader Clint Boyer is now 1 lap down.
David Ruman's got anything. He's got to pull the trigger now. He can't do it. Carl Edwards wins at Memphis Motorsports Park.
Look, we got a back flip and a backhand.
I couldn't tell what he said. He had his shield down. He was nodding and shaking and nodding and pointing, and his wife was giving me the Hawaiian good luck sign.
I mean, I went over and make sure he was okay. His throttle wasn't hanging or nothing, you know, I mean, just off the corner. I was cool with it.
As the chase heads into the second half, can anyone catch Jimmy Johnson? Race 6 of the chase comes your way Sunday from the Martinsville Speedway, a place where Johnson has won 5 of the last 6 races. Coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern on ABC. There are 4 drivers in today's field who are doing double duty and have been making the commute between Martinsville and Memphis. So what's the commute look like? Our Google Maps should give you an idea. Martinsville is located in southern Virginia, approximately 658 miles to the southeast. That's where you'll find Memphis. One of those drivers living the jet-set lifestyle this weekend is Carl Edwards and, well, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch arriving about 1:30 Central Time, coming in on his golf cart. And as we mentioned, Carl Edwards also one of those guys making the commute. And because of that, you'll have to start at the back of the field today. What's the strategy?
Just go as fast as we can. We got the Susan G. Coleman paint scheme. Save a Lot has donated a huge amount of money to the cause, and just proud to be driving that race car. And last year, the year before that, you know, it seems like every time we've come here, this has been a really fun racetrack for me. You know, you can slide the car sideways a lot. You know, you can pass here. Pit strategy comes into play a little bit, and it's a cool trophy.
Yeah, talk about that pit strategy. Last year was real interesting. We saw you on pit road a lot earlier than we expected to. Can we see something similar like that today? Should we expect that?
I think it'll just depend on how we're running. You know, Augie Vidovich helped a lot getting this car, set up, and and hopefully this thing is fast. If it's fast, it'll, we'll go with whatever strategy, the other fast guys are with, and if we're slow, we'll try to come down, work on it, maybe pit early. But today's a beautiful day, and I want to say our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with Jason Hedleski and his family. He lost his father and couldn't be with us here today, and just a great friend of mine, and we're all thinking of Jason and his family today, and hopefully we can get him a win.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And Carl Edwards very much in the points race here as well. 195 points behind your championship leader. 5 drivers doing double duty. We should correct ourselves on that. But as we look at the standings now, there's a great battle between 6th and 8th. Steve Wallace, Mike Bliss, and Jason Keller separated by just 28 points. Still, everyone's looking up at Kyle Busch, who opened up his championship lead with a very strong performance a week ago.
The 31st stop on the 2009 NASCAR Nationwide Tour is green.
Big crash coming out of turn number 4.
Look at this 4 wide. Oh, this is going to be big.
4 wide. Come on, man.
We've got trouble in turn 2.
Slow down, get to the apron, Yellow zone.
Well, from our vantage point, that looked pretty close, huh?
You think it looked close from your vantage point?
We've had 20 laps of caution. Let's go bleed, mean, and green the rest of the way.
18's got a big run up top, trying to come outside.
And he is up on the wheel like he has something to prove.
And he's gone.
Kyle Busch will see the checkered flag here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
This thing was on a rail tonight. That's a great race car.
Well, that was 1 week ago, and Kyle Busch 1 week ago should stay right there. What's it going to take to make it a two-peat and win here, too?
Well, we're going to try. We'll see what happens. You know, we got to go to the back. So, you know, a lot of cars here, a lot of good cars here, and so it's going to be tough to come through traffic. But being a long race, we can bide our time and take our time and, you know, get this FedEx Camry up towards the front. And just want to thank everybody at FedEx, all the 30,000 team members and everybody that's behind us, helping support us. And I know FedEx is a great company to be with because you know, I'm teammates with Denny Hamlin. So cool to come out here, have all their representatives here and sitting in the stands. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Just found out earlier today that it's been like almost 5 years since you've been here. Is it like riding a horse? Do you pick up the nuances of a racetrack quickly, or is it going to take a little learning?
Well, the cars are similar. I mean, they're a little bit faster now than what they were back then, but now they have the plate on it. So faster through the corners maybe, but you know, it'll be a little bit different, but hopefully it shouldn't take me too long to get used to it. And like I said, we'd love to give FedEx a win here and get this Camry up front.
Then you could deliver the trophy by ground and by air.
That's right. We can take it by ground or air.
There you go, Mike.
Well, Jack, as Brad Doherty likes to say, Kyle Busch is a wheel man. He's not going to have any trouble adapting. That just about does it for Countdown. The stage is set for the Kroger on track for the Cure 250. We'll have pre-race festivities when we return here on NASCAR Countdown. It could be a wild one this afternoon. Welcome back to the Memphis Motorsports Park. Teams preparing for today's 250-lap race here at this very tight three-quarter-mile racetrack. And there's one guy looking to put on a show. Kelly Byers making his last start with KHI this year. He'll move to Junior Motorsports in 2010. And, well, Kenny Wallace, pretty good here last year, finished third and already started strong. He qualified fifth. That's his best qualifying effort in 3 years and seemed primed for another good run here at Memphis. Festivities continue as we get ready to go green flag racing. First, though, let's go trackside now for the invocation as we get ready for today's event.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and remove your hats? The presentation of colors today here at Memphis by the United States Navy Naval Support Activity Mid-South. The invocation day by Stephen Durbin, the Associate Pastor of Faith Baptist Church in Bartlett.
Let's pray. Father, thank you for a beautiful day. God, we know that you're in control of all things. God, I thank you for a country where we can come and gather together with people that we don't know for the purpose of fellowship and to have a good time. God, I pray that you would bless the drivers as they drive today, that you would keep them safe, that you would give them clarity of thought, that you would protect them, the pit crew, that everyone in attendance would have a great time. Lord, I thank you for this country. I pray that you would bless our soldiers as we continue to be in war, that you would guard and protect them. We ask all this in the name that saves, Jesus Christ. Amen.
We live in the greatest country on earth. For our national anthem, Stephanie Whitler, Miss Tennessee, 2009.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the red we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And drivers shaking hands, getting last wishes of good luck before they buckle themselves into their machines. Teams giving high fives. The excitement's starting to build here in Memphis. When we return, we'll get you ready for green flag racing here at the Memphis Motorsports Park. And if it's anything like the last couple of races, this could be a very interesting event.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Memphis is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Get the inside track from Penske Racing, race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and more on VCast. And Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR.
Well, the crowd continues to file in here under these crystal clear skies and a crisp fall day at Memphis Motorsports Park, and we're glad that you're with us as we come topside to get ready for this. And this is the last standalone race of the year, and I know that means a lot to you and a lot of these guys.
Well, it means a lot to those guys, that's for sure, Marty, no doubt about it. A lot of these young guys are down and they're thinking, hey man, this is my Daytona 500. I've been thinking about this opportunity for a long time. They're dying to get in this race. Look, they don't care about Kyle Busch, they don't care about Carl Edwards or the regular guys. It's all about them doing a good job so the owners out there can watch them and maybe get a chance to drive their cars. They want to look good, but above all, man, they just don't want to make any mistakes either.
Well, they can have a career day here. There's guys in this field that know that their race teams can win this race. They have won races this year. There's other guys that are making their start to say, okay, guys, let's just finish this race with all the fenders on it. We can come out of here with a top 10, keep all the fenders on it, but they're going to have to be careful on these restarts not to run over guys.
And you hit the nail on the head, didn't he? Right there with the restarts. That's the thing I'm concerned about, right? These double file restarts. I think that's the thing we got to look at throughout the day. Surviving these double file restarts. This is the first time ever here at Memphis, Tennessee for these things, like we talked about earlier in Countdown. And I believe that all these drivers, at least some of the ones I've talked to, that's in their noggin. They're thinking about it.
Well, and one other thing we didn't talk about was the tire change. I mean, that's going to change the complexion of the race as well.
It is. It's a softer tire. Goodyear's done a lot of improvements on these tires, especially after the Indy test. They learned so much. It trickled down to the Nationwide Series. This is the first time here for this tire. It's softer. It falls off. So it's going to be very interesting to see when these guys are going to pit late for tires.
Randy, I saw some of the cars in practice out there actually bottoming out big time, getting down into turn one. A lot of sparks coming off the cars. It's the same thing coming down the back straightaway, having problems right there. I really think today on this new tire with the low air pressures, they're going to have to keep that in mind and not drive these cars too aggressive right off the bat, or else they can get themselves in trouble.
All right, we've got a little extra time. There's a slight delay down on the track. Let me put both of you on the spot. I want you to pick one of the young guns who you think might break through for their first win, and who you really think is going to win.
Well, who has the greatest shot, I think, is a 20 car. But when Joey Logano's in that race car, it's a top 5 race car, 5 wins. But when he's not in that race car, it's a 20th place race car. Di Benedetto can make a cause for himself by bringing that thing in the top 5, and that team can win this race.
I think for one of the young guns, I think Landon Castle's a kid we need to take a look at. This is an opportunity for him today. He's been waiting all year long to get inside that #1 car of James Finch's car. I talked to him earlier. He's pumped up. He's excited. He knows this is his last opportunity also this year.
I personally like Richard Boswell, but keep an eye on Carl Edwards. Remember, he's come from the back 3 times this year to win, and he also did it here 1 year ago. Guess what? It's time to get this show on the road. Let's go.
Kroger Associate Brand Survivor, Karen Himmel, and
Okay.
The Kroger Delta Marketing Area President, Mark Prestes.
On behalf of breast cancer survivors like Sharon, gentlemen, start your engines!
So the engines have fired, and there is our in-race reporter. It'll be the 27 of Jason Keller, making his 489th career start. He is the leader in that category. Right behind him, Kenny Wallace with 450 as of today. We'll talk to him when we come back to Memphis Motorsports Park. The wonderful sights and sounds of Beale Street. If you ever come to Memphis, you've got to go there. In fact, you got to try the ribs. It is outstanding, and there's a number of great places, all within about a 3-block radius. How about the fact that we've got our starting grid just rolling out onto the track, and for the 3rd year in a row, a first-time pole sitter with Justin Allgaier picking up his first career pole, and 8 of the drivers in the top 10 are in their best starting positions of 2009. Time now to talk to Jason Keller. He's our in-race reporter, the only driver to start all 10 prior events here at Memphis. Rusty?
Hey, Jason, Rusty Wallace in the ESPN booth. You got us?
Go ahead, Rusty. I got you.
Jason, this is the first time for the double file restarts right here in Memphis, and a lot of guys are slipping and sliding out there the first 3 or 4 laps, and a lot of them are concerned about crashing, man. Is that a big concern of yours, and how can you avoid it?
I really don't know. I don't know where to be. It's definitely going to add some excitement here. I think we got a real fast race car. I think that's the biggest thing to avoid it, and we got Cottonelle on board today, and great Kleenex brand. So just need to keep our nose clean. No pun intended there, but just be smart, and the double file restarts are definitely going to add an element of something we've never seen here in Memphis before.
All right, Jason, we've got an ESPN mailbag question. It comes from Diana in White Plains, New York. The question is, you've got more experience at this track in the Nationwide Series than any other driver. How does that benefit you?
Hopefully it will benefit me just to know that this race it has been known to have a lot of cautions. So just make sure you save your stuff, communicate with your crew chief, and tires are going to be an issue here too. We saw that yesterday in practice. They fall off a good bit. They're slick to start with, but then they fall off a good bit. So just need to keep this hot rod close to the front, and that's experience tells me that's where I need to be.
All right, Jason, you have a great race out there. Keep the fenders on that thing. And now Randy's going to talk to your crew chief, Todd Gordon.
Hey, Todd, Randy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, Randy.
Okay, we've heard you got the most experienced driver. You got a brand new tire here, brand new compound. What's going to be your strategy, and how long are you going to wait at the end of this race? Is you got a lap figured out and say, okay, if it's 10 laps to go, we're putting tires on that baby?
You know, I've been through this a couple times. Seems like it is a new tire, but it's the same old racetrack. Second practice, the guys who went out on rookie sets, they were about 3.5 cents faster on 40-lap tires. So I'd say if we can find a caution there with a 200 to 210, we're coming and try to get a set, hopefully have a little advantage there. I don't know that you can come much past 225. It's just this double file deal and wave around stuff does stack up the field, puts a few more cars in the lap. So see what happens. Hopefully it'll be about 200.
Okay, Todd, thanks very much and good luck.
Thanks, Randy.
So you know that one of our onboards will be with the 27 of Jason Keller. Let's show you the rest of our onboard combinations. You've got Landon Castle, Justin Allgaier, our pole sitter, Kyle Busch coming from the back, Kelly Byers, David Rudiman from the rear, as well as Carl Edwards and Jason Leffler. And our over-the-wall reporter is going to be the front tire changer on the number 66, Mark Hollywood Armstrong from Gastonia, North Carolina. Hollywood, you're going to be doing double duty this weekend as well.
Not only am I going to be doing daily duty, and a bunch of guys up and down pit road, about 15 of them. There's 5 drivers, but a lot more crew members. So after the race tonight, they'll get on a plane, fly back to Charlotte, get a little bit of rest, drive to Martinsville tomorrow for ESPN's coverage on ABC at Martinsville. Sit back and enjoy, guys, because it's going to be exciting here. It's rock and roll in Memphis, baby.
All right, thanks, Hollywood. We'll be looking forward to your reports and your action today over the wall. All right, let's get the rest of the late stories from pit lane. We're in Memphis, so Rick DeBrule, what tune are you playing?
Well, let's talk about the fact that Memphis is the birthplace of rock and roll. For Brad Keselowski, there's no question. For him, it's a matter of avoiding the rocks and rolling to the front. The question is it going to be like last year where it was mostly green, or 2 years ago where there were all kinds of yellows? Oh, well, in music, you go for a gold record. Brad could go for gold. If he wins, a $75,000 bonus. That's what he's after, and that would be sweet music. Mike?
Well, another driver looking for a little bit of gold himself is Carl Edwards. He comes into this race 195 points out of the championship lead, trailing Kyle Busch. With just 4 events remaining, there's not much more opportunity. This is a race, remember, that Edwards won a year ago. He needs to capitalize, needs to outpoint Kyle Busch today. Otherwise, he could be singing a tune of a different note, one that this town is definitely famous for. He could be singing the blues, Jack.
Well, Memphis is the home of slow cook pit barbecue. And how do you get it nice and tasty? You take it up to temperature nice and easy. Rusty and Randy and everybody talking about the tires and the concern, especially on restarts. Keep in mind that if you want to be cooking barbecue style here in Memphis, if you're on the inside or the outside, the pole sitter will determine, and the leader will determine where he will go on those restarts. And then he has to bring those tires up to that key temperature, Marty.
All right, eight cars to the rear. Blake Cook, engine change. Eric McClure, Stephen Light for unapproved adjustments. And then our 5 double-duty drivers, Ruderman, Edwards, Busch, Kenseth, and McDowell. The pace car has pulled down onto pit road. They come around of turn number 4. Starter slowing them down. Race number 32 of 35 is now green. We survived turns 1 and 2. Allgaier already into turn number 3, and you can see they're stacking up, trying to go 3 wide for at least a moment back further. Leading lap number 1, it will be our pole sitter, Justin Allgaier, followed by Scott Wimmer. Boswell has dropped to 4th. De Benedetto has moved up to 3rd. Kenny Wallace is 5th.
And that first corner was the key thing, Marty. These guys wanted to get through the first corner. They were concerned about the tires slipping and sliding and not getting the grip they were needing. But right now, they're looking great at the moment.
That's absolutely, the air pressure's coming up. These guys finally got some grip. I see the one car running on the outside. Boy, I tell you what, there's a lot of guys all over the place.
Justin Allgaier has Scott Wimmer pressuring him all over. And De Benedetto right there as we go on board with Justin looking out the back.
You know, Marty, yesterday I was watching Justin Allgaier's Dodge, and the car looked pretty fast for the first 10 laps. Then it kind of started falling off. We sat on the pole today with some good record speed, and I really think that maybe this car could be slipping and sliding after about 10 laps. It didn't look that great yesterday, and you know that's got to be on Allgaier's mind right now, Randy.
And at the end of this, look at the end of this group right here, the 11 car. Mike Bliss has been terribly fast all weekend. Yesterday, fastest car out here, the 5 car, going for 3rd.
And while all this is going on, we'll tell you that the 92 of Willie Allen, who qualified 8th, is in pit road. They are changing all 4 tires, so he has not a starting park as of this point.
What happened was he finally got the thing after 2 laps. He's like, I got no more grip. Where did it go?
I'll tell you what, Wimmer's just wearing the bumper out on Justin Allgaier right now. He's got that Chevrolet right up the back end. He's trying to dip that nose up underneath him off the corners. He's got a lot of forward bite off that car. And Wimmer wants this race bad. He talked to me earlier. He said, I got a good car, Rusty. Don't count me out.
He knows how to win here. He's won here in 2002 in the Bill Davis car. And, man, you know nothing better than Scott wants to win this race.
Looking back a little further in the field, let's check in on our 5 drivers that had to start back in the back of the field. There is Kyle Busch as he is trying to march his way up through and get back in. He's up to 25th place right now.
I seen Ruderman go by him a couple laps ago on the inside, made it 3 wide, and Kyle says, okay, big boy, go ahead.
Yeah, Ruderman's just a couple of spots ahead of him up into 22nd. He is leading the group of that 5 that came over from Martinsville. There's Brad Keselowski. You can see Kenny Wallace and the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. That is 7th, 8th, that group in there. Coming past the start-finish line again, you're looking at the battle of the top 5. The first 2, nose to tail, and then the second group with the 5 car hanging on the outside there as Boswell seems to like that little higher line. Whoa, and we got a spinner and a crash down in turn 2, and now it's becoming a multiple deal. Oh, Sart's in trouble. It started with it looked like Kenny Wallace getting up in there. Or not Kenny Wallace, I'm sorry, it was the 39 that got in started. Eddie McDonald, along with the Zaxby's car, the 09, John West Townley. The 29, remember Stephen Light had to go to the rear. It caught him.
And that caught him right there. I mean, that was a bad deal. They had to make some adjustments to this car because of it. Had to go tailback, and now he's gotten himself in a wreck. And boy, the 73 car, Chase Miller, this was going to be a start and park car. He got wiped out right off the bat. Big melee down the middle of turn 1 and 2. A lot of tore up cars.
We're completing 8 laps. Robert Richardson also in this in the 23. Let's go back and see how it all started.
Looks like oil on the racetrack. He dropped some oil. Something happened. Yeah, that's right. Something happened. He blew a line or blew a motor, and everybody else was just kind of along for the ride. Eddie McDonald, here he is from Lee, New Hampshire, won the Oxford 250, just digging along. Great family team, run second in the Camping World East race. You can't do nothing once you hit oil.
.250. Randy, I was actually there. I watched him run all day long. He just flat flew throughout the day. And this was an opportunity race for Eddie to get out here and show what he had. Now his day's over. Robert Richardson, John West Townley's in this thing, Justin Marks, and Stephen Light in that Richard Childress number 29 Holiday Inn car.
So we have our first caution. Remember, 2 years ago we had a record for here, nearly the all-time record, 25, just one shy of the record of 26 set back at Hickory back in 1996. Last year, a lot less. The fewest we've ever had has been 7, and we've had our first here with now 9 laps complete. And there they are in pit road working on the 29.
Working on the 29 car already. I didn't say that was Richard Childress driving that car, did I?
Well,
that's
maybe.
Richard Childress's car.
Oh, okay.
Okay, with Stephen Light in it.
I don't think he could fit in the window.
No, well, he's trying to lose a little bit of weight. I told him after last week.
Wait a minute, Randy. He'll be calling you and saying, let me see you squeeze through that window, big boy. All right, well, you can see that they're going to go back out. A little aerodynamically challenged, but they're still in the race. Can't be said for the 09, John West Townley, as that car is a wreck. Stay with us. We're coming back. The chase is at the halfway point. Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon look to close the gap on current points leader Jimmy Johnson. NASCAR's best head to the shortest track on the circuit. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Martinsville, and coverage begins tomorrow on ABC at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Is all presented by Goodyear. Under our first caution here at Memphis Motorsports Park, after John West Townley dumps about every ounce of motor oil he had all over the turn 1 area, and they are still just finishing up the cleanup. Let's talk about some of the guys that have moved the most. David Rudiman has already come up 17 spots up to the 18th position. Carl Edwards is jumped up 16 total positions. He is up to 25th. And then there is the 99. Rudiman, of course, won his one and only nationwide race here 2 years ago.
That race team puts a big emphasis on this racetrack. They really enjoy it. Trevor Bain did a great job with that car. Loved it. Says when Beak gets here, he's going to love this race car.
Let's get more from Jack Arute.
And indeed, he does love the race car, but coming from the back of the pack, Rusty and Randy, he says the car is just a little bit free, but they don't want to tighten it up because they feel like once they get to the front, free is going to be a lot better.
Well, I want to talk about Allgaier and Justin Allgaier up front. He says the car is not great. He says it doesn't feel horrible. His biggest problem, he says, is getting forward drive off of the turn. So he's not coming out quite the way he'd like it. They were saying just wait with the car. It'll come to him at some point during the course of this run. The longer the run, they feel the better he's going to do.
To give you an idea how bad the oil down is, they couldn't have done a better job over at the drag strip just behind us here. It starts at start finish, and you can see where it ends up, where that grease sweeper is, right in the middles of turn 1 and 2.
It is unusual to go out there and see a car losing an oil line this early. I mean, these cars, these mechanics really prepare them real well right now. It's going to be interesting to see actually what broke to cause this problem. I don't see a lot of that.
Here's the view from Carl Edwards on this deal.
He was right underneath it. You see the guy sliding right behind him?
Stephen Light spinning around. You see that? Justin Marks. They're all hitting that stuff going, what in the world am I just drove through?
And
oil everywhere.
And Carl was behind that, so he got through it. Some of the others, as you can see, were not as fortunate. So we're going to step aside for another break as they continue the cleanup here at Memphis Motorsports Park. Justin Allgaier is still the race leader after 13 laps. Six cars involved in our first caution after the 09. John West Townley blew an oil line right at the start-finish line. Take you back, show you again what happened. Top of your screen.
There it is. You see him blowing. You see the guy on the right? Morgan Shepherd chased his car the whole way. And we can't see it now, but there's guys behind here. If you get the right sides in that oil, man, it's just, you're like, oh no, what happened to me?
Well, Townley was running 18th at the start of this freight train crash, all the way back to 33rd for the 6th car that was involved in it. And you can see the 29, Stephen Light, got swept up in it as well. And here's the tail end of it again.
Well, you see, take a look at Stephen Light right there. He was actually in pretty good shape, and Chase Miller come along, couldn't get slowed down, and tore the left rear quarter panel with that Holiday Inn car off. Now look, they've been making multiple pit stops and are starting to get that 29 fixed up right now.
On board again with Carl Edwards. He somehow gets through it without sliding up. Everybody else, there's the crash, and there's the second crash after that. Let's go on board with Kyle Busch. This is a view we haven't seen yet.
Down on the bottom of the racetrack, let's see, touches Morgan just a little bit, not much, but Morgan's holding on right now. That's the green car on the right side for dear life. Kyle keeps her right on the bottom of the racetrack, and typical by Kyle Busch, gets right through that wreck.
That's a lot of the spotter. You know, a lot of the spotter. The guys caught that, said, get low, guys. There's smoke going into one. Get low.
Well, they have fired up the jet dryers to blow off all the grease dry that they have put down, and they're just past start-finish line heading down towards turn number 1, and there you see some of the carnage back in the garage area. That 92 car was not involved in it. Willie Allen has pulled it behind the wall after taking on tires early. I don't know, maybe they were getting them scuffed for the next starting park. Who knows? So there you see all those that were involved, and some of those cars are still out on the track, but as you can tell, a few of them are not. John West Townley has been checked out and released from the infield medical center, so that's good news. He's okay. Stay with us. We're coming back to Memphis. Well, we asked earlier what tune everybody was going to be playing here at Memphis. Well, for 6 cars, it was Slam Bam, Thank You Ma'am.
Well, you know, some of these cars, 29, looks like the 39, these guys have some significant sheet metal damage, but I don't think the chassis are bent. And where that damage is on both on the left rear quarters, it's not going to hurt these guys a whole lot, Rusty.
No, I think they'll probably be okay with that. I mean, especially Stephen Light. It looks like he's in there working on it. You know, Randy, this misfortune for 4 or 5 of these guys is a gainer for a lot of these guys because pit road is so tight right here. It's really created some openings for some of the key runners out there. I'm looking down here at Landon Castle's team. He's got an opening in the front now and an opening behind him. And there's many cars that happened to. It really helped out.
Got several starting parks that are now behind the wall. It's Danny O'Quinn, Justin Hobgood. We told you about Willie Allen and Coleman Presley, so that updates that list. Let's reset the field as the lights are going out on the pace car, which means we'll be going back to green flag racing next time by. It will be Justin Allgaier, Scott Wimmer, Mike Bliss, Boswell, and Benedetto. So we've got some experience in Wimmer and Bliss, but we got a lot of youth up there as well. And here we go with our first double file restart.
You know what? They made it on their initial start a couple laps. I think we'll be fine. I mean, Rusty, we talked about cutting our teeth. Every one of these guys cut their teeth. Short track racing, double file restarts. Nothing wrong with it.
So they know how to do it. I mean, but it's a little piece of history right here today at Memphis. This is the first time they're going to have a double file restart. And I know you and I and everybody's concerned about these things because it's kind of cool out here, and it takes a little time to get the heat in the tires to get the grip where these guys can drive them really hard.
Well, we got a couple of penalties, the 39 and the 29 entering pit road be too soon. Obviously, they had damage, so it's really not going to affect them there at the back of the field already. The 61 of Hendrick, he got caught speeding, so that's bad for him, but he's already 2 laps down in 36. Here we go. We're back to green flag racing at Memphis. And boy, does everybody want to get low and away from that oil dry.
Boy, you see Scott Wimmer just dumped at the bottom of the racetrack trying to get underneath Justin Allgaier right off the bat, but he didn't want to get stuck in that oil dry in the top of the track. Good move out of Wimmer.
Everybody made it around, did okay. Here we come with Justin Allgaier still leading with Wimmer right on his back bumper, and Mike Bliss now in 3rd.
A lot of patience being shown right now. This is pretty good.
Yeah, this is early in the race right, and the guys know they can't make a mistake. But look at Kyle Busch just blasting through the center of that field on that previous shot right there. I kind of jumped the gun on you a little bit, but I tell you, Busch is doing a good job right there getting to the front.
Well, and the rookies going after each other. DiBenedetto gets underneath the 5 and gets around. Boswell moves him back a spot. Moving back a little further, you mentioned Kyle Busch. There he is with Matt Kenseth, his wingman to the left. And Kenseth says, you can become my wingman. I'm going to.
Jason Radcliffe, his crew chief, had words of wisdom for him before the green. Guys, his crew chief, Jason Radcliffe, had words of wisdom for him before the green flag dropped and said, protect yourself.
Oh, no. 28 cars in the back of the 0. A lot of them pile up. Another big wreck off of turn 4.
26 also involved. That's Kevin Conway.
We got one spinning in the backstretch. It looks like Kenny slowed down a little bit quicker than Steven did. He kind of helped out old Uncle out.
Well, they'll get along fine after that, but it looks like nobody's tore up or nothing there.
Well, the Conway's car has got some damage to it on the 26 on the right side. He is limping around. And it looks like Kenny's going to try and get back to where he was, but I think you have to maintain pace. I don't think NASCAR is going to let that happen.
They might not have seen him.
Yeah.
I seen that happen, and David Ruderman was going. He got jammed up. David got jammed up, kind of got out of the groove, and by the time he got back to Carl, somebody ran the back of Carl and turned him around.
Well, we mentioned the damage on Conway's car, and see, that's the left side. The right side's even worse. There's some damage on the 60 of Carl Edwards. Let's go back and take a look from Carl's onboard.
It's in the middle of the corner. He's slowing up. Boom. Just gets tapped by Tony Raines.
Yeah, Carl can see there's problems in front of him. He got out of the throttle to slow up a little bit. He got rear-ended a little bit right there.
He's lucky he got turned around. Was headed in the right direction. He got punted. He said, okay, let's get out of here.
Take a look again from this view. There's the tap from Raines. Everybody else is spinning behind him, trying to check up. You're right. It's a good thing he did get going.
You ain't kidding. He got that's a good luck for the pink car.
I'll tell you, one thing I see happening right now is all these cautions right off the bat. Remember 2007, man, we had 25 cautions here. We don't want that to happen again today.
Another view. In fact, I think we called it the 24 hours of Memphis at one point because it felt that way. There's Kyle Busch. He has come in. Carl Edwards is in as well. So did the 32 of Brian Eichler. So already some strategy being shown here on lap number 27.
It was pretty smart strategy out of the 60 car of Carl Edwards and 18 of Kyle Busch. They were already in the back. They came in and put a little fuel in these cars, got them topped off with gas right now, so they're in good shape there now. Now they just got to wrestle getting back through this field again.
And that's something that won Carl a race last year here by pitting like he did. Kyle was sideways on the outside. I think they got the car a little too loose. They said, okay, let's try a different set of tires, different little air pressure, tighten it up a little bit, and go on.
And that's a good point, because Casey Atwood set this car up, another driver, and Casey did a good job for him, qualified it well. But obviously at the start of this race, you could see that 18 car was slipping and sliding. He needs to make some adjustments to fit his driving style better.
Mike, what's the latest on the 18?
Well, Marty, he's really not happy with the race car, just a little bit too loose. This might be a product of the fact that Casey Atwood shook the car down and set it up through practice. I spoke with Atwood this morning and asked him what they worked on. He said they were tight, and they really concentrated on getting it as loose as possible, thinking that Kyle wanted it that way. I asked Casey how he would compare his styles to Kyle's. He just shrugged his shoulders. He wasn't sure. It looks like they were a little bit off in their estimation. The car way too loose for Kyle right now.
Mike, in the case of the 60 car, Carl Edwards came in and basically they took advantage, as you guys upstairs had said, to put on some new tires and to be able to make some minor adjustments. But the reason they chose to do it is the conversation between Edwards and Dan Stillman revolved around the little bumper tag that was played. They wanted to check that front bumper area. They checked it over completely, and they also checked it over on the replays as well. Remember, they tape all of their pit stops and reassured Carl Edwards that everything looks fine, and he said 10-4.
All right, Jack, thanks for the update there. You mentioned Kyle first and then Carl. Between the two of them, they have 6 career wins coming from the rear of the field. Carl has 5 of them. Kyle, back in June of 2004 with Kyle. Now, this is the 28 going around. I don't know. It doesn't look like he got any.
Oh, yeah, he did. I was watching it. I had a corner of my eye that, he slowed up a lot quicker than Steven did. And maybe he was just waving hi to him or something.
Yeah, they all come down the back straightaway checking up to try to get slowed down the whole field. And they got brake checking each other accidentally. And looks like Kenny got in the back of the 28, bumped him around, and pulled up in front of the 66 to try to get his position back with NASCAR. The way the timing and scoring lines are, looks like he's back about 4 positions from where he started at when he got spun.
Well, they got him right now in 17th. Steven is running up in 9th. So
10 spots. I mean, that's close. That's St. Louis math, maybe.
Oh, you're not busting on me again now, are you?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I use my fingers and my toes, okay?
I'm done. After that, I'm done.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Let's sort of figure this out. We're still under our second caution. And waiting to find out. Lights still on the pace car, so we're going to go around at least one more. And we're just being told now it will be 2 to go at this point. As now it looks like checking on Kenny Walsh. He is still staying back in that 17th position. So I think NASCAR is leaving it alone where they go by that rule. If you cannot maintain pace, it's your tough luck.
Well, Marty, as he spun, I mean, the cars would stay going, and the cars came past him as he was spinning, and where he came back in line is where the timing line on the back straightaway scored him. So NASCAR called down and said, hey, this is where we got you at. Get there or else you'll get a black flag. And Kenny knows he doesn't want to mess with that.
Now Rusty, we had another Wallace at Indianapolis. ORP, when he got spun out, when he didn't maintain speed.
Let's give you our first Aaron's lucky dog. We didn't have one in the first crash because Eddie McDonald was one of the cars involved in that first crash, but he gets the free pass from Aaron's, and he gets to get back on the tail end of the lead lap. That means we have 34 cars right now on the lead lap.
This team is going to come back next year. They want to run. They said, okay, we can compete with these guys. We want to run about 6-8 races next year.
Well, as we're on board with Kyle Busch, we're hearing that he might be coming back to pit road. Mike?
Marty, I wouldn't expect him to come back. However, that caution may have been a blessing in disguise for the 18. Before the caution came out, Kyle had radioed in. He thought he might have a tire going down. You can see the team looking at it right now, trying to find out if it was cut or if it has a leak. But obviously that caution came at a pretty opportune time for Kyle Busch.
All right, thanks for the update. So as the pace car pulls off, we'll go back to green flag racing with Allgaier, Wimmer, Bliss, DiBenedetto, Brad Keselowski, your top 5, and we're racing again, and hopefully a lot longer than a couple of laps.
You're going to watch Mike Bliss. He's going to be leading this thing in about 6 laps.
Okay, talk about Bliss. He had a great car yesterday, both the practice sessions. He was definitely the fastest car out there. In fact, he was so fast at times, it almost looked crazy. He was like 2 or 3 tenths of a second, Randy, faster than the rest of the field.
Well, I'm going to tell you, though, guys, I'm very impressed with Justin Allgaier. He has led every single lap that we've run here today.
Well, it helps when you start on the pole, and you heard him complaining that his car's not as good as it was. Rusty mentioned it didn't look that good yesterday, but boy, you hate clean air. But when you're leading, you love clean air.
Well, the clean air is everything in the world, like you said. And he just needs to get consistent laps running right now without a caution to find out what his car's doing, how it is handling.
The best thing he likes is looking in his mirror and seeing everybody 2 abreast behind him. It's giving him some open space.
Absolutely. Bliss coming out of the corner. He could use all the racetrack now.
Hey, Rick, what's going on with that 11 car Bliss?
Well, the story on Bliss is that he told his crew that he's having a great day so far. In fact, during the yellow, he said he thought he could take Wimmer, and indeed he's proven that the case. The situation with Allgaier up ahead of him is Allgaier says during the first couple laps after the yellow, his car doesn't work very well. Then it comes back in, so that was really critical that they were battling it out behind him. Of course, now he's got a veteran on his tail, and it's going to be hard to keep him off. In fact, Bliss making the move.
Yeah, down into turn number 3. Mike Bliss sticks his nose in there. Can he make the pass? They're side by side coming out of 4. Heading for the stripe. Who's going to lead at this lap? It's going to be Mike Bliss as he takes over, being our second leader here on lap number 36.
Now, guys, what I want to see right now with Justin's car is how it handles behind a car right now, because that's where he was having problems in practice. Now he doesn't have that clean air. Now he's back in traffic a little bit. We'll see what happens here.
He's still going to have clean air because the 11 car is going to walk the dog.
Notice also the 40 of Wimmer is starting to go backwards as well, as he's got his hands full right now. Brad Keselowski's gotten around him. And you can see he's now under attack from Brendan Gaughan, who has moved up to 6th.
You know, Brad Keselowski, he's got a big dollar sign he's racing for today. He's going after 75 grand. He's going to the front. He's very impressive right now.
I'll tell you what, Brendan Gaughan's got a really good car today. He's working the top side of the track, working the bottom of that US Fidelis car. It's been running great for him early here.
Look at the battle for second place right now, as you can see. Benedetto, oh, and Keselowski gets into Justin Allgaier and turns him.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, he did get in the back of him, but I'm not sure if it was more of him coming down the racetrack trying to protect the position.
Tell you what, Justin's racing for 5th in the points right now. He does need to get himself back in these problems. This wasn't his problem, but now this team's got to be careful, be smart, keep him up in the clean air so he doesn't get this point problem that happened to the guy racing him last week, Steve Wallace. You don't want that to happen to him again.
Our third caution here on lap number 39 of 250. What's amazing is we were worried about the double file restarts. We're making the double file restarts fine. We're getting a few laps into these runs, and that's where the problem is. What do you think?
Well, you know, the spotter probably said a little hole behind the 20 car, and once that 20 car clears you want to get to the bottom. He turned down into the 88 more than the 88 hit him.
Man, it looked like Brad Keselowski really had a lot of speed getting down to the turn one, and look at him checking up behind you.
Well, anytime, Rusty, you want to try to fill that hole. I mean, that's one thing you learn as a race car driver. When that guy in front of you makes a hole, you fill that hole, and that's what Brad was trying to do.
And you notice Richard Boswell almost got caught up in this as well. He managed to get stopped, but it cost him quite a few positions. Here we go again.
It actually looks like Brad's car's got some damage after I saw him hit that on the right front fender. That might affect that number 88 car a little bit. We'll have to check into that later.
Well, here comes Allgaier down pit road, and so is the 5. Mike?
And Kelly Byers in, car very loose. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment and track bar adjustment, also a 4-tire change in the 33. Jack?
Mike Boswell's come in and taken a minor rear wedge adjustment on the left side. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. Rick, up to you. Justin Allgaier.
Justin Allgaier in. They went ahead and changed all 4 tires. So far, no major adjustments. Remember, the car had some problems after 2 laps. They're checking the fenders. They're giving him the thumbs up, saying everything's okay, no rubbing, so he's going back out. Obviously not the way he wanted to be stopping at this point in the race.
Well, being under caution, yes, he's going to lose a lot of track position, but still on the lead lap.
So Brad Keselowski coming there. Look at the right front fender. I don't see that much damage. I don't think that's going to affect him, but I do see a little tire rub on the top of that right front tire, so they're going to have to pull that fender out just a little bit right now, get him some more clearance. In fact, actually, Randy,
a lot of damage. That's $1,500 from the owner's point.
It's more damage if that tire gets up and hits that fender during the race. Have to come down pit road on the green flag and fix it. He doesn't want to do it then.
You mentioned the $75,000. That's the nationwide dash for cash, and Brad, who won the $75,000 bonus back at Iowa after it rolled over after the first 2 races. There was no winner. It is potentially a big payday for him. If he wins the race, he would also win the points championship, and that's how it totals 75,000 big ones. And with the purse and everything else, it would be over a $200,000 payday.
That's a lot of money, no doubt about that, but I bet it's not on his mind right now. I bet he's trying to get this car back in the race. You know, a racer thinks about money when the race is over. They usually don't think about it as they're in tight competition during the race.
Well, that's Rusty defense. If you were standing on the 12 hauler, the 88 run over. If you're standing on the 88 hauler, 12 car come down on you.
That's right.
So it's simply amazing. You can stand on 2 different trailers and see the wreck 2 different ways.
And here is the breakdown as we pointed out, and let's check in with Rick DeBrule.
Yeah, they came in, they changed 4 tires. The thing they had to do was, of course, get out that front fender. What Brad's been asking is, why did Allgaier check up? His contention, obviously, Allgaier slowed down. He went into him as a result, but they've come in, done the repairs they think they could do. They were starting to haul a hammer over, and then they changed their mind and came back, and he went back out. But at this point, obviously not happy where things have gone.
Marty, it looks to me like that right front fender is still pretty tight. I mean, they got to make sure they got plenty of clearance because they do travel the right front tire a lot here, maybe about 3 or 4 inches. And to me, about the 2 o'clock position, it looks like it's still awful tight down to that tire, guys.
Well, he was in 3rd when he came in. He comes out in 32nd. Justin Allgaier is now 26th. We have a total of 33 cars on the lead lap. We should update that. We know that Mr. Conway had his problems with the damage. He is behind the wall. Ponstein has pulled it behind the wall, and that gets you updated on the latest cars that have taking it behind the wall here at Memphis as we go back to green flag racing with Mike Bliss, DiBenedetto, Brendan Gaughan, Wimmer, and Castle.
Watch the 20 car. This kid's going to be up on the wheel. He's going for the lead. He wants to lead this race.
He got right underneath of Allgaier earlier. He looked good, but take a look at Bliss, though. He's the one that's got the clean air right now, and he's the one that was fastest in practice yesterday. Let's see if it pans out right now.
Look at high side Gaughan. He's coming up on the high side. He loves the high side no matter where he goes.
You can take Brendan anywhere you want.
That just because it's closest to the wall?
I don't know. He's just been his whole life, trucks, cup cars, whatever. He says, Rusty, I can get more momentum on the top of the track. I feel more comfortable up there. And if you can get the top side here at Memphis to work, hey.
Wow, you've done something.
You just don't have to work on the bottom that way. You got the bottom and the top for you.
Landon Castle gets around the 38. The Great Clips Toyota, Jason Leffler, will move Castle up to 5th. Little action further back. There's Stephen Wallace also trying to get underneath Leffler, and it looks like he may clear him coming out of 2.
Stephen had the same setup with this race car as he had at Indy at ORP. He was a rocket ship. He had a great hot rod. Let's see if he comes to the front.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder how many cars are running their ORP setup, because, Randy, this is exactly the same tire that raced at Indianapolis Raceway Park, ORP they call it now, and this is a shorter racetrack, same air pressures, everything.
Notice the problem that Carl had with the spin. He is there in 8th position, right behind Jason Leffler, so obviously the spin not a major deterrent for him because he has been able to claw his way back into the top 10.
He's working that bottom of the racetrack. He's about cutting the grass down through the corners.
Carl has picked up 33, now 34 spots since the start of the race, and that includes one full 360, Jack.
And it's no surprise that the way Carl Edwards has carved his way to the front. In fact, it was not missed by many of the people that have not pitted yet for tires. In fact, the chatter on the radio, guys, was about the fact of how quick the 18 and the 60 were on new tires. And now everybody else is being faced with an opportunity of just hanging on because they don't want to pit more than they have to. My calculations are, guys, they can do this thing in about 2 and a skosh.
Well, and as you finish up, Jack, there's the 99 of Ruderman and David, who won here back in 07. Carl won here last year. He also has moved up very well. He is 9th on the track. And look at this, 3 wide. Wimmer gets passed by Stephen Wallace and also Carl Edwards.
Boy, Stephen had the 4 wide deal working last week. It didn't work at all. He's seen Carl coming. He's got tires. He's going to suck it right up in there. Says, okay, let's go to the front.
So Wimmer backs up. Edwards keeps moving forward. Jack?
Yeah, let me update you on Scott Wimmer. The car was nice and free at the start of the race, and then you saw him start to drop back. The car has tightened up considerably, and they can't get that tightness out until they pull him down on the pit road, guys.
That's probably something that as good as he qualified, that's usually what happens. You have the car really tight to qualify. And once you get a couple laps on the right front tire gets hot, and man, it just kills your momentum.
Our third double-duty driver to crack the top 10, the 18 of Kyle Busch, Mike Massaro.
And Marty, as I told you earlier, the car was a little bit too loose. So the last pit stop, they made a wedge and track bar adjustment, but they may have gone a little bit too far with that adjustment. Kyle now saying he's plowing the center, and he told his crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe, go back to where the track bar was set originally. He thinks they're going in the wrong direction with that maneuver. Guys?
Well, the guy that's going in the right direction is Carl Edwards. He just got underneath and passed Brendan Gaughan as you were finishing up, so move Edwards up to 4th, Gaughan back to 5th. Could he do it again?
Well, the speed he's got right now, I've been watching the monitor. He's definitely fast on the racetrack, but Mike Bliss is still the fastest guy on the racetrack. So Carl's doing a great job right now, guys, carving himself through traffic. And you know what? That's just the veteran of Carl Edwards, man. He knows how to do it.
That is Landon Castle going underneath DiBenedetto. That is for 2nd place. So Castle, who's also trying to impress for a ride for next year, is now in 2nd place, but he's 3 seconds behind Mike Bliss. But look out for Carl Edwards. He's on the move as well after 53 of 250 here at Memphis. Here's a chance to win $10,000. It's the Pick 12 Challenge. Correctly order how all 12 championship drivers will finish relative to each other in this week's race. Submit your answer at ESPN.com/Pick12. Closest entry could win 10 grand. The winner will be announced the following week in the first 30 laps, so make sure that you tune in. Well, while during the break, guess who moved further fouled. It was Mike Bliss. He's now 4.5 seconds over second place, which there is a change. Carl Edwards, he got around Landon Castle during the break, and there you see Landon in the number 1. Steve Wallace is now 4th. Matt DiBenedetto in the number 20 car is 5th.
Hey, well, you talking about Mike Bliss now in that lead car, that 11 car. We've talked about him yesterday in practice and everything as we're watching Carl Edwards here run. Carl's just logging some laps down. But back to Bliss. This guy is amazing what he's doing with this number 11 car. What do they got, about 12 to 15?
Oh, got a crash.
Michael Annette.
Michael Annette has put it into the wall between turn 3 and 4. Don't know how much damage there is in that right rear quarter panel. He was running 22nd at the time, and we now have our 4th caution of the day.
Don't see a big damage in the back if you got some help.
Let's go back and take another look.
Oh, he got some help. Doesn't take a whole lot near the 05 Mark Day. Just helped him out just a little bit.
Tell you what, if he's got some help, it looks like maybe a scratch. That's about all. He just barely touched him. And you saw Michael had to check up a little bit. And the Day got in the back of him, but yeah, like you said, Randy, I don't see any damage on the right side of this car. A little dent maybe, that's about it.
I seen Day earlier. A lot of guys coming in the pit.
And there will be no Aaron's Lucky Dog this time, so no one gets the free pass. Leading him on down to pit road, it is our race leader, Mike Bliss. Let's check in with Mike. I think you've got Kyle Busch.
And interesting radio before they made their pit stop. Jason Ratcliffe asked Kyle if they did want to reset that track bar. It appears Kyle changed his mind. They will not reset the track bar, just 4 tires, hoping that this will keep them with good track position here, guys.
While that's going on, there's Landon Castle as they'll go for 4 fresh Goodyears. And let's check in with Rick.
Yeah, indeed, the leader, Mike Bliss, brings it in. Like the car early on towards the end of the run, said he was losing grip. As a result, they've made a 4-tire change and changed the air pressure as well.
And you can see it's a very tight pit exit, and 3 cars come together there, including DiBenedetto, the 99 of Ruderman, and the 38 of Leffler. Who got the race off pit road? Kyle Busch picks up 5 big ones. So obviously with 4 tires, those guys just turned one heck of a pit stop.
And that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. It got the Cup team pitting this car. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. He's went from dead last to leading this event right now, and that pit crew really helped him get that thing up there front.
Well, we had about 8 guys stay on the track, Rusty. Guys that had pitted earlier, they're all still on the racetrack. Carl Edwards is now the leader.
Take a look again, and you can see what happens right there.
Okay, I mean, hopefully they didn't kill the 20's fender. It got behind the 99's left front. Hopefully he didn't knock his toe out, but that's something. It's hard to go 3 wide. This is a very narrow pit road when you try to exit your pits.
Yeah, guys, I got to go back. I apologize about saying that 18 car was leading the race. He beat everybody out of pit road that all pitted together, so he did a good job there.
Right. The top 9 stayed out. Edwards, Darnell, Brad Keselowski, Mike Wallace, Justin Allgaier on down. Let's get the reason why on the 60, Jack.
Well, Marty, remember now, the 60 and the 18, they had pitted out of sequence. Remember, they pitted early when they were in the back of the pack. But here's what basically they decided to do. Dan Stillman had a discussion with Carl Edwards. They're looking for a little bit more forward bite. Then they did an inventory of the tires, the sticker tires that they still have available for the race. By their count, they now have 2 sets of sticker tires left. With only, 64 laps into this 250-lap record book, into this 250-lap race, Stillman said, I think we're going to be better served by just running these tires through its full sequence out front, because we want to have a set of those Goodyears towards the end of the race. Edwards said, yeah, sounds like an idea to me, and they decided to stay out.
All right, let's take a look at a pit comparison between the 18 and the 11.
Well, there you see Kyle made up 2 seconds just getting in and off of pit road. On pit road, obviously his gear ratio, and he's using his tack a little bit better, but look at it, pit crew. Wow, 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, he just killed them everywhere, getting in the pits, and look at the pit crew, 2 seconds, like you said. Now, looking back at Bliss right now, here's a guy that had the fastest car out there, but the pit crew is just not as good, and that's going to kill him.
All right, let's go through this again. It's Edwards, Darnell, Keselowski, Mike Wallace, Justin Allgaier. That's your top 5. Kelly Byers, Tony Tony Raines, Richard Boswell, and Shelby Howard. That's the 9 cars that stayed out. Then it's Kyle Busch 10th, Stephen Wallace 11th, Mike Bliss 12th. So that resets everybody as it shakes out. We're getting ready, and we're back to green flag racing with Carl Edwards taking the inside into turn number 1.
Now, guys, I got to believe this is going to be a good example to tell us how good new tires really are compared to these older tires. Yesterday, we saw almost 3/4 of a second faster. A lot of fall off in this really good Goodyear tire.
This is where patience is going to happen. All these guys at 10th on back, they just can't run over the guys in front of them. You have to drive around them. You can't drive through them.
Yeah, Randy, you're exactly right. This is the toughest part right now, these restarts. Getting these things gone for like 5 or 6 laps till the heat comes up in these tires. And there's a lot of brave dudes out there. I don't know if they're going to listen to us real good, though.
Look like you're going to try 3 wide down the backstretch. There is Bliss trying to make up some ground. Wallace goes with him on the low side. Can we all make it through? And on the outside, it's Landon Castle. And so far, yeah, everybody survived.
And Shelby Howard saying in the 70 car, you guys are roughing me up, man. I don't like being stuck in this center like I've been here.
Carl Edwards is still your race leader. While all this is going on, we will tell you that here comes Brad Keselowski as he is going for the lead down into turn 3. In fact, he does take the lead. Eric Darnell is 3rd in this freight train. And it looked like Carl just got a little loose going into the corner.
Yes, he did. It doesn't take much. You got to charge these corners. He might have just a little bit too much brake in the thing.
We talked about brake bias at the beginning. And boy, the 5 car got a little high there, Boswell, and he's going to lose a couple of spots because of it.
It's so easy to get rattled and get out of your rhythm. That's one thing that these new drivers have to get is get into a rhythm, keep yourself straight. The guys are going to get you on the inside. You're stuck on the outside. Have some patience.
Let's get an update on the 5 car, Jack.
Well, Randy LaJoie, you're absolutely right. Tony Erie Jr. has come in to crew chief for Boswell in this effort, on this one-off effort. That's what they've been dealing with their driver. Every circumstance, every happenstance, they've been talking to him a lot like Dr. Phil, all the way down to when to turn the fans on, when to turn them off, just trying to convince him to stay composed and to cruise, as they say, until later in the race.
You know, you can't teach a young guy how to race before he gets in the race. Take a look at 4th place right now. You see Kyle Busch blasting underneath Justin Allgaier. Busch has got those fresh tires compared to Justin, and it's really showing up. But going back to these young guys, I mean, they don't know what to do until they get in there and experience it. They're saying things like, man, I had no idea that these restarts are this hairy. Or I didn't have idea that the car was so loose early. Stuff like that. They've got to get out there and learn it themselves.
There you saw Kyle, and he's pulled out about 3 car lengths on Justin Allgaier. Let's go back and show you the lead change because we had several passes going on at once. Down into turn 3.
Well, this is a hard braking point. The 88 just whistled right by him. Carl gave him the spot. Said, okay, you're faster than me. Go ahead. He went over the Memphis moguls going down the backstretch. Pretty bumpy getting into turn 3.
And Brad Keselowski was 32nd just about 30 laps ago, and here he is now leading the race. And remember, he has got a bonus of 75,000 big ones if he can win this race. He's leading by 0.7 of a second over Carl Edwards, the man who won here last year. Back here at Memphis, we are under our 5th caution. Matt DiBenedetto and Justin Marks got together between turns 1 and 2, and you can see that Matt is coming in. And let's go for the pit stops first. Mike?
Kelly Byers in. Car a little bit loose off, complaining he needs a little bit more grip. They're going to go to work on the right side. They'll make a track bar adjustment, and it looks to be a 4-tire change for the 33 car, trying to make that car a little bit better, Rick.
Matt DiBenedetto not having the first race that he was hoping for. Obviously, he's got some problems out on the track right now. They're going to bring the car in. You can see him pounding on the very front of the hood trying to get that out, so they've got no problem rubbing against the fender. They're also going to try to put it around a wedge if they can ever get to that. They also had that problem on the last pit stop when he had a little bit of a nudge going out. They were concerned about it then. Now, he's done a lot of pit stops in the Camping World Truck Series, but obviously this is his very first nationwide race.
And let's go back and show you exactly how all this happened between the 20 and the 10 car of Justin Marks.
We see Justin Marks coming around right now, and Benedetto just gets down on the bottom in that grass and just couldn't avoid it and got a little bit of right front damage, but I believe he's going to be okay. Let's take a look at onboard of David Rudiman's car.
It's hard to see. something happened on the outside of Ruderman. There it is. The 10 gets around. DiBenedetto, he got in the back of the 05, and then just I think his damage is going to be very minimum. We see the guy leading the race with his right front blown off. I think this damage is all good.
The 05, of course, is Mark Day. So we are under our 5th caution here. Brad Keselowski is still our race leader, and we can tell you, Timothy Peters won the truck race. They got it in over in Martinsville despite the rain. Congratulations to Timothy. Back here at Memphis Motorsports Park, the Aaron's lucky dog will go to Kevin Conway. That's the good news. The bad news is he's still 39 laps down.
Yeah, but his day just got longer.
1 lap longer. 2 other guys have pulled out of the race. Morgan Shepherd is out, and so is Jeff Fuller. So that means we have a total of 32 cars out there with 31 on the lead lap. We're back to green flag racing with Brad Keselowski leading them down into turn number 1.
Watch that 11 car on the bottom. He's still the fastest race car on the racetrack.
Yeah, but he wants to get away from these guys right now.
Him and Paul Wolf have worked together for a couple of years. Armando Fitz. Whenever these 2 guys get together, they're on the same wavelength, and it's amazing when that happens when a driver and a crew chief happens.
Well, Keselowski leads the lap, opens up a little ground. There goes Bliss trying to get underneath Edwards, and here comes Kyle Busch right alongside. So Kyle follows the leader, and looks like he was going to try and take him down into turn 3 and will probably clear him. Yes.
Rusty, we talked about in practice yesterday, the 60 car with Augie Vinovich. They didn't run a lot of laps. They didn't run hard. I mean, I think it's biting them right now. That's one thing a lot of guys do is they try to get the car as good as you can when that driver shows up.
Well, if you're a backup driver, a fill-in driver for your main guy, I mean, you got to do a good job and try to get it handled good. And Augie did pretty good. I just think he needed to do more of it for him, you know. He just didn't want to wreck this car or do anything wrong at the moment.
Brad Keselowski's got his hands full with Mike Bliss. Bliss looking inside, going into turn 1, and Bliss takes the lead from the 88. And now Keselowski's got his mirrors full of Kyle Busch.
And boy, this is just what Bliss needed, because before this last caution, guys, he was outrunning this field out front by almost 0.2 of a second. And on a short racetrack, folks, that's a lot.
Now, Bliss has the same tires that Kyle Busch does, so the 88 car is running very well with probably 30-lap older tires.
Oh, and he jacks him up, gives him a little nudge, and tries to go underneath, but Brad holds on.
Well, hopefully Brad realizes that's Kyle Busch in that FedEx car, not Denny Hamlin.
I'll tell you one thing that's really good is Kyle Busch now, he has not been here in 5 years. Oh, a spin off of turn 4.
And you can see it at the top of your screen as the car comes down. It is Landon Castle, who was trying so desperately to make a good impression for a potential ride for next year. He was running 7th at the time of the spin. There is some damage.
He might be stuck in the mud.
I saw several cars in the parking lot that way this morning when we came in. We had a lot of overnight rain. And
got a little bit of damage.
It did turn into a beautiful day. He gets it refired, does get out. We've got the replay, and looks like he may have gotten a little help here. Let's see.
See him patting the throttle, trying to hold on the car, trying to drive out of it.
Well, usually when you get sideways, when a guy gets into you, you floor and try to get him back. He might have got a little damage on the 62 behind the tire.
And he has gone 1 lap down as a result of this. And Kevin Conway will get the lucky dog again, which now means he'll only be 38 laps down.
Only?
Well, 25,
we don't know. That's right.
25 cautions 2 years ago. Well, he'd still be 13 or 14 behind. Forget it. It's going to be a long day for you, Kevin. Sorry, buddy. All right, well, you can see the one of Landon Castle coming down pit road. He's got to get some, as Jack likes to call them, Dr. Feelgoods. We'll come back to Memphis Motorsports Park. This week on Saturday Night Football, ABC delivers 2 must-win games. Most will see number 3 Texas in a critical conference showdown when they hit the road to face the Missouri Tigers. Some will see Oregon State take on 7th-ranked USC. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
All right,
And lights are out on the pace car here, and let's reset it for you. It'll be Mike Bliss, and he's going to take the inside, as everybody has today on the restarts. Kyle Busch second, then Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, then Leffler and Darnell in fifth and sixth, then Stephen Wallace, Brendan Gaughan seventh and eighth, Matt Kenseth ninth, Jason Keller, our in-race reporter, 10th. And there is some damage on the right door of Brendan Gaughan 62 after the contact that brought out our sixth caution, turning Landon Castle around.
And once he turned Landon around, Landon, you hear him get back in the throttle, and the left front of Brandon's car, the left front of Castle's car, got the door. I don't think there's no damage. There is damage, but there's not going to be no concern. You can see a little bit. Just let some more air out from under the.
Shouldn't affect the car. Looks like it got some right front fender damage, but should be okay.
Looks like a car that's racing on the short track, quite frankly. Here we go, back to green flag racing.
Kyle Busch just drives it down in there, trying to take the lead. He's got it.
Kyle takes the outside and holds on to it. So put Kyle to the lead for the first time if he can keep a hold of it officially at the stripe, and it looks like he will easily.
And Marty, you can bet that these guys are logging this in their mind right now. Where do I need to do these restarts, inside or the outside? And the rest of these competitors are watching where Kyle Busch is doing this at, because a lot of times those guys are getting all bogged up in the bottom of the track, and Kyle just sails that baby in there and flies around the top of them when they're sitting there parked on the bottom.
Well, now this is Bliss's. Okay, I finally have some competition. Nobody's been close to me all weekend. The 18 cars out here, let me see what he has. I'm going to get him.
And there they are, as you can see, Kyle.
Said, okay, I got nothing for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, he made it look very easy. Kyle gives the position back, and Bliss pulls right back out in front. Here comes Carl Edwards in third. Jason Leffler has rallied back to fourth.
I guess that's at 5 bonus points. The 11 car does work with Joe Gibbs Racing with technology and stuff, so that might have been, you know, give you 5 points.
Well, and speaking of the bonus points, Kyle has scored 105 more bonus points right now than Carl Edwards, 135 more than Brad Keselowski this year. And he leads by 195 over Carl.
There's a lot of bonus points, Rusty. When you go for a championship, every point matters. They start at Daytona, and the more you get at the end of the year, you'll be sitting pretty.
There's Eric Darnell. Now, Eric was up much closer to the front a little bit earlier. He has dropped back into the pack. He is now running in 11th. And Scott Wimmer has just gotten around him, as has David Rudiman in the last lap or two.
Well, I'm watching a 33 car of Kelly Byers, guys, and Kevin Harvick's car. He's getting that number 33 car through the field. The car's handling real well. He's working the bottom of the track, and that's a car I've been watching for a while now. He's got a good run going on.
Yes, he does. The car's clean, and they're working on this car. They've worked on it, I think, 2 or 3 pit stops. And you know, Kevin and Delaney have worked real hard to get this nationwide program up to run with the Gibbs, and they've done it. I said, okay, Kelly, bring this thing back into top 5.
Let's get more on the 33, Mike.
And guys, you were talking about the work they've done on this car on that last stop. As we mentioned on the pit stop, they came in a little bit loose, looking for a little bit more grip. Well, they pulled a spring rubber from the right rear and added a spring rubber to the left rear, so they were hoping that would correct it, and it's made the car a little bit more comfortable for Byers.
And right in front of him, Brian Eichler has a good run going. Eichler shown in the 11th position right now.
You know, we talked about Eichler earlier, guys. I mean, this is a fellow that's got a lot of experience on short tracks. He won over at Greenville. He's won at Mansfield. He's won a lot of short track races, and I believe that's what actually got him this race. See Byers going by the inside right now.
He's a California kid that's a protege of Kyle Busch.
And once you said something nice about him, he got passed. All right, take a look at the battle for third place. You've got Jason Leffler going underneath Carl Edwards. There's Stephen Wallace lurking right behind. And again, it looks like Carl's car, the same problem, and they're going to have to get it fixed on the next pit stop.
Now, remember one thing. Carl's got older tires on the 38 car of Leffler and Wallace. They both pitted last time. Got 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on that baby right now. And then new tires are really showing some good stuff.
That is the 5 of Richard Boswell. He has been black flagged. You notice the hood is coming up. They forgot to put the pins in, or else the pins maybe got sheared with that contact earlier. But they have black flagged him because they're going to make him come in.
Well, the only problem is he's not going to be able to get down here for a lap or two. He's got about 10 cars. And pin him on the outside.
Yeah, here comes Justin Allgaier underneath him as well. And that is for 21st position on the racetrack. Meanwhile, Stephen Wallace, Jason Leffler, they are battling for third. It is Bliss, Kyle Busch, Leffler, and Wallace.
Bottom of that racetrack, if you get those cars hooked up in the bottom and run that center real hard, you gain so much momentum. But Randy, you've won here, and the drivers tell me that off the turn 4, that is a really tough corner to get some good forward bite to make a pass.
It's very similar to Richmond. This is probably the most similar to corner to Richmond that we have on the thing. You go into corner 3 really deep. You got to get the thing turned, and when you come off, as you see Carl and these guys, the fast guys come off eating up the inside of that racetrack.
Carl Edwards has 4 wins and 8 top 5s in his last 10 short track races. He leads everybody on this field today in that category. Let's get more from Jackaroo.
And Marty, right now Carl Edwards is in what we call conservation mode. They have been taking inventory of the available Goodyear sticker tires remaining. They are not at all concerned as now Boswell comes in to have the hood pins repaired, but they're not at all concerned about the leader, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch in second. The only car that they are at all concerned about right now is that 11 of Mike Bliss. Why? Because he has the same amount of tires, 1 extra set. And Edwards right now said, look, we're just going to stay out here and cruise, and we'll have an extra set of tires at the end. The only guy I'm worried about right now is Bliss.
And everybody ought to know Jack has been fighting a huge, heavy cold all week long. And Jack, kudos for hanging in there, buddy, because I know you feel miserable. As you mentioned, there is Bliss, the man that Carl is worried about. And he has opened up a 3-second lead over Kyle Busch. Jason Leffler is now third. Stephen Wallace is fourth. We've completed 108 laps. We're closing in on the midway point here at Memphis. The chase is at the halfway mark. Does anybody have anything for Jimmy Johnson? It is the best heading to the shortest track on the circuit. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Martinsville. And coverage begins tomorrow on ABC at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's all presented by Goodyear. Back here at Memphis, Mike Bliss has now opened up a 4-second lead. He has now led more laps today than his previous 4 starts. His best finish ever here has been second in those 4 starts. As you can see, he's led 55 of 115 laps.
Marty, you know what the bad thing is about having a really fast car like Mike Bliss? You catch the traffic first. And he's getting in traffic right now. Kyle Busch is sitting back there in clean air, and Mike's going to have to negotiate him through all these cars that are starting to get lapped now.
Well, let's get you up to speed, courtesy of Nationwide Insurance, and it starts off with Rick DeBrule.
Indeed, let's start off talking about Mike Bliss and the fact that even before he had ever turned a wheel on this track, he told me this car was fast, and indeed it's proven to be. He said the new tires make it feel even better. It's been a perfect car for him so far this weekend. Not bad for a guy that right now still doesn't officially have arrived for Phoenix. Mike?
Rick, if you look at the results for 2009, it seemed like there was a pattern. Midsummer, there went 9 races in a row where Joe Gibbs Racing remarkably did not go to victory lane. It appeared then their window of dominance had shut. However, recently, Joe Gibbs Racing has won the last 3. The 18 car trying to keep that streak alive. Still not real happy with the car right now, saying it's tight center, a little bit loose off turn number 2. Jason Leffler rolling right in the tire tracks of the 18 car, a guy who is looking to end the season on a very high note. It's been a bit of a difficult task lately, however, so much in fact that his crew chief Scott Zipadelli called a meeting with his driver this week to talk about attitude. Everybody had seemed to be a little bit tense over the last few weeks. Zippy talked to Leffler. They both came to an agreement they need to be a little bit looser, understand what each other's doing, change their attitude, and be a little bit more optimistic. Right now, the car pretty good. That'll help the attitude, although just a tick tight on the 38.
And Mike, in 4th position is Stephen Wallace. This is a young man that is trying to rebound from a couple of disappointments in the last couple of weeks. And in fact, yesterday he said, look, it's time for this team to gel and for us to win. He said it on our qualifying, on our practice show. But then he's been in a case where he's been very silent, Rick DeBrule, on the radio, but his crew just keeps telling him, remember, tire management, tire management.
Indeed, that's what Brad Keselowski has to worry about as well. He recently just told the crew it's tight, tight, tight. That's the concern he's got about this car right now. Earlier, they made an air pressure adjustment in that car. He felt it went a little bit too far, and now they want to back it off a little bit on the next stop. But overall, considering he had that one incident with Justin Allgaier, he's still sitting up close enough to the front that at the very end of the day, he could end up with a very, very nice payday. Jack?
Carl Edwards had a very fast race car, ran to the front and then faltered. He started to fade as his tires got more and more laps on them. He has also been tricking around with the brake bias, trying to adjust for the handling of the car, still not getting the forward bite that he would like as those tires begin to wear down. He desperately needs, as we call them, a set of Dr. Feelgoods, Mike.
And Jack, the 16 team did not run here at Memphis a year ago. Because of that, they've had their work cut out for them. They tried to set up the car using Ricky Stenhouse, but more in particular, they leaned on the notes from the 60 car, their teammate that went to victory lane a year ago. It's helped them out tremendously. Matt Kenseth very happy with the race car, although he says as the run goes on, it gets a little bit tighter. Behind Matt Kenseth, well, a driver trying to make a name for himself before moving on to a full-time ride next year with Junior Motorsports. That's Kelly Byers. And said, not really. I've never really done very well here, however. He did say this is the best car he's ever had when it came to this track, and there's trouble on the track.
Yeah, we got to interrupt because Eric Darnell has turned it around in turn number 2, and Darnell at the time was running 21st. Remember, we told you his car was going backwards. He was well up into the top 5 for a bit, but this caution, he needed one. Unfortunately, he is it, our 7th.
The leader was coming up right up on him, so it'll be interesting to see what happened.
Did he get any help?
Possible. That's usually what happens when your spotter says, hey, the leaders are coming, let's go. And it looks like Kenny was going a little bit quicker than Eric was.
So Eric is now a lap down. That means we have a total of 21 cars on the lead lap. And remember, we talked about the young guns that were coming out. Matt DiBenedetto is 23rd. He's a lap down. Also looking down, Landon Castle's a lap down in 28th.
Bliss is
it looks like Mike Bliss is heading for pit road. And Boswell is 30th, now 4 laps down. Kyle Busch is following, so let's send it down to our crack crew who's getting ready to take over the business for us. Mike?
And Kyle Busch coming down pit road, still not completely satisfied with that race car. They've contemplated a wedge adjustment. Doesn't look like they'll make it, however. Just an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel. Jack?
Air pressure adjustment, track bar adjustment on the right rear as well. And they're going to try and get Carl Edwards to get the car to be a little less tight in the middle of the corner. Rick?
Brad Keselowski brings the car, and remember, he was saying it was tight, tight, tight. Meanwhile, at the very front, car number 11 just finished his pit stop. Things went very smoothly. He's liked the car all day. Very minimal adjustments to get him back out on the track.
And the race off pit road, Kyle Busch picks up 1 spot. Mike Bliss loses a spot, and that's what happened to him on the last pit stop as well.
Yes, it was. That's one thing that these race teams can really help a guy. It's not the money stop yet. You still got 125 laps to go. So the money stop, these guys are going to have to step it up.
Well, we had 32 laps of green. That's been our longest run today. Previous was 20 laps. As we said, we've got our 7th caution. That's the fewest we've ever had here at Memphis. Green flag has just flown here at lap 130. We've just passed halfway. Kyle Busch is the race leader, and it is Brad Keselowski as Mike Bliss got his hands full with Stephen Wallace underneath him heading down the backstretch.
Started on the outside, Bliss didn't get a good start. Got a little trouble. Eddie McDonald gets turned around. Probably going to be no caution.
And Eddie was the recipient of the lucky dog, but as you said, no caution. We're going to stay green. Action a little further back. That's the Jason Leffler 38 trying to take a peek under the 66. Couldn't get it done. Thought better of it.
Well, those guys got these fresh tires. This is the first time the whole race that the top 10 or 15 cars are all in the same situation when it comes to new tires. They all got the same stuff now. And now it's time to see who's are the haves and the have-nots.
Let me also update you. There were 4 waiver rounds. They stayed out. It was the 10 of Marks, the 24 of McClure, the 81 of Cook, and the 5 of Boswell. So now you're caught up completely with all the cars that are on the track. We've got a total of 25 cars on the lead lap with Kyle Busch leading Brad Keselowski. Then it's Mike Bliss, Stephen Wallace right there as we go on board with Carl Edwards, who's in 6th with Jason Leffler right in front of me.
The only one he was worried worried about was the 11. Well, there's 5 guys in front of him he needs to worry about if he wants to win this thing. He needs to get up on it and let's get going. That car is just a little bit off. It wasn't as good as it was early in the race.
Jason Leffler's got a good car. Leffler does at 38. Working underneath Stephen Wallace right now to the bottom of the track. And here comes Carl Edwards right behind him. He's kind of using Leffler as a pick and going to follow through underneath the 66.
And Leffler is going to clear him, so he moves up a spot, and here comes Carl right along behind.
He said, well, Stephen, you passed me a lap ago when the other guy passed me. I'm going to get it back from you.
A little bit further back, that's Matt Kenseth now taking a peek, and here comes Rudeman underneath the 16 of Kenseth.
Hey, that turn forward, that seems to be the corner where these guys have the toughest problem, like you said earlier, getting through there. Then and the guy's a little slower in the bottom. It sets up a big race, a drag race for the guy on the outside. And Randy, they fly down this big D-shaped front straightaway into one, and then they got to narrow back down again. Absolutely. Boy, they get tight again.
Well, you know, one other thing we didn't talk about, the gear ratio's 20 points less than it was last year. You don't have the motor to help slow you down. The guys have to use more brake and then roll the center a little bit better.
Yeah, good point. You know, I never thought about that. Last year they had a 529 gear. Now they got a 514. They're actually using their brake pedal to slow them up a little bit more instead of the engine helping.
How about this? Kelly Byers giving Matt Kenseth all he can handle right now. As they go back down into 3, Kenseth saying, okay, son, I'm going to try and hold you off here, but I'm not sure he can.
One of the best in the business, Matt Kenseth.
Now, Kenseth is a veteran, no doubt about that. He's patient. He's been a lot of short track races. He cut his teeth up in Wisconsin, all these short tracks. This just fits his style, this style of racing.
Wimmer also trying to get a piece of Matt Kenseth. That's 8th, 9th, and 10th right there in your screen. While all this is going on, you're not missing anything up front. Kyle Busch has opened up a half-second lead. So keep in action here where we've got some passing, and finally they settle down and get into single file.
Well, Kyle Busch is lucky the 88's in there because the 11 car's been typically a 1/10 of a second quicker since they went back to green. He got stuck on the outside, and now he's got back to the inside, and he's just coming, baby.
On board with Jason Keller in the 27 as he is running in 13th. That's Justin Allgaier right in front of him, and you can see that Allgaier's taking a peek underneath, and that's Shelby Howard in the 70, and he's got him.
Keller's like, keep that door open. I'm coming too.
You know, Jason's our in-race reporter, and I'd say he's doing a good job out there. We talked earlier about how much experience he's got on these short tracks. This guy's almost lived on the short tracks his whole life, Randy, growing up, one of the most successful out there.
Stephen Light, remember the early problems he had in the race. He's wounded. You can see the scars across the front of that hood, and he gets around. Michael Annette also getting by. So Shelby going the wrong direction.
You know, the good thing about Stephen Light is that the front of this car is still pretty well intact. The rear spoiler's up in the air good. Just got some cosmetic damage on top of the hood in the back. And Randy, I don't think that's going to hurt his performance.
The front's intact.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's still there. Might be there a little bit.
It's got the good shape for downforce.
Oh, yeah, it does. It might not fit templates. He might get kicked out.
We don't care about that right now. He's just worried about, hey, is this car handling good?
Hey, Rick, this guy was 32nd back on lap 21. He is moving up.
You know, in fact, before qualifying started at the end of final practice, he said he felt he was doing great. The car was really solid. There you see a pass for second place. Mike Bliss now moving in. Back to Stephen Light. He said the car was great. So obviously, the fact he started so back and got in trouble, he was in rough shape as moved up. Now let's talk about Mike Bliss. Despite the fact that he moved back a little bit, is not going away from him. They said all they really want to do, take a good long run, get everything set up for the last pit stop. That's the critical thing. They only made an air pressure adjustment this last time around. Obviously, as the run goes along, he gets better and better.
You're absolutely right, as he has closed that half-second lead down to, well, there it is, right there, about a car length.
It's not going to be long. Kyle's not going to be looking at the front of his car. He's going to be looking at the back of it.
Yeah, that last time by, Bliss was about a 1/10 of a second faster than Kyle Busch is. And so it's a matter of getting around Kyle, getting that clean air, then checking out.
Well, but remember, we still have one more round of pit stops. And boy, hats off to Jason Ratcliffe. Here goes Bliss, taking a look for the lead as he gets under and clears him. So another lead change. That will be our 9th between 6 different racers. But hats off to Ratcliffe. Remember, they had a handful with this car. It was way too little. loose. They're working it back, and he's got one more pit stop to make it perfect.
Well, he's pretty close right now, just like you said, Marty. And I think just a little more adjustment, like you said. But Kyle's one of the best. But remember, he had to learn this track, man. He hasn't been here in 5 years.
Well, and Mike Bliss is hoping for a nice long run here because his car is much better in the long.
Oh, he'll lap half the field if it goes green from here on out.
And the only other thing he's thinking about is he needs one really good pit stop from his crew to help him keep this track position. On board with Carl Edwards. Edwards in third position right behind Kyle Busch. First and second in the points, second and third on the track.
You know, Kyle Busch is probably the best driver in NASCAR on new tires right now. And no matter which division, no matter what vehicle he drives, when he got new tires, you better look out. He's going to get it all he's worth. Now good he's gone.
And Carl is underneath Kyle. So Kyle, the longer this run goes, the more his car is beginning to back up.
I like the patience of Carl Edwards. We listened to some of his interviews, and he's very methodical. He's like, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's work ourselves through there. And you can see that he's worked with the handling issues of this number 60 car, and he's been very patient, telling his team what he needs, and now he's got this baby up in his second place.
Remember the nationwide dash for cash. Right now, Mike Bliss stands a chance of winning $25,000, and Kyle Busch ahead of Brad Keselowski. Kyle would win the $50,000 points championship bonus. Folks, back here at Memphis Motorsports Park, we found another car that likes the long run. Here comes Carl Edwards. He has tucked up underneath our race leader, Mike Bliss. Bliss has led 76 laps, more than anybody here today. And we've got caution on the backstretch as collision as Eric Darnell is involved in this one, and the 39 as well of Eddie McDonald, the second time that he has been involved in a crash. And I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back to pit road, but yeah, he's limping away.
And once again, I mean, his tires are still up, and he might not have got damaged, but the Darnell's car is done.
Boy, I'll tell you, what a bad day for Eric. He was in the top 5, fell back, and now is out of this race. He got, he was a lap down at this point, and here's a guy again that right now doesn't have a ride for next year.
Yeah, he's searching for a ride, but I'll tell you, this is a really good driver, Eric Darnell is. Let's take a look at this accident and see what happened. Oh, they start stacking up. Nowhere to go, starts getting out of the throttle. Oh, back into that 29. And Randy, look how much, oh, there's the damage.
That's what happened.
There's the damage right there. I started to say there wasn't that much.
Well, that's like the street. You let your foot off the brake, turn the wheel. You're not going to turn the car with all 4 brakes locked up. He's seen them. I'm not quite sure why he didn't just let go of the brake and then drive right by him.
The good news for Eddie McDonald is he did get a lot of camera time today. The bad news is for all the wrong reasons.
This is true.
Eric Darnell, this is the case where you go up in front of the truck and you sit down, you take your helmet off, start pulling your hair out.
Easy. Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Is that what happened to your hair?
Yeah, it is.
It's all gone.
You're still beating on his hair.
Hey, Marty, we'll get him. We'll get him. I'm filing all this stuff right now.
The question now is, here we are with, we're within the window. You going to come here?
Depends on what they got for tires in the pit.
Yeah, and I really think the guys that feel like they need to make some adjustments on their car to win this race are going to come down pit road. Hey, if your car's loose, tight, it's not going to fix itself. Might as well get down pit road.
You need 2 sets of tires, though.
It's been 30 laps since our last round of pit stops.
Well, you know, before we had like a 35-lap run, and that's where we're seeing some big-time separation between these guys. It's about the same amount of green flag runs, and it's definitely showing the haves and have-nots as far as lap times right now, guys.
Well, we're going to find out here pretty soon if there are any takers, as Mike Bliss will be the first to make the call. Pits are open, so we'll find out in a matter of moments.
Stayed out.
They stayed out, so we'll see who does come in. Looks like the 27 and the 16. Jason Keller is a taker, and so is Matt Kenseth. And they were running much further back. They were 11th and 12th. So the top 10 cars stayed out. Brian Eichler comes in as well. And there is the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. So we'll reset everything after we take a quick break here at Memphis Motorsports Park. Well, let's get you caught up on our Verizon race rundown. On lap A, we had 6 cars after John West Townley did his Jet Clampett impersonation and dumped a ton of Texas tea all over the racetrack. And then it happened again as Carl got turned around, and then everybody jacks up behind him. And that's what it looked like from outside. But Carl came away pretty much unscathed and has gotten back into contention. Kyle Busch, another one of our double-duty drivers, started in the back of the field and managed to march his way all the way up to the front for a while. That is until Mike Bliss got into accelerated mode on a long run. And he retook the lead as we've had a total of 6 leaders and 9 lead changes.
Jet Clampett, Texas T. That's pretty good. That's funny, man.
Well, I'm not trying to be funny.
It worked.
Just trying to have some fun.
Yeah.
And he did. He dropped oil all the way from the start-finish line down all through turn 1 and into turn 2.
It was a big mess, too.
It was. Sure. Took a long time to clean up, but hopefully, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We're going to go green when we come back and stay green to the finish. Don't leave us. This one's still in doubt. A look at the crowd here at Memphis Motorsports Park on a crisp fall day as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. It is Bliss, Edwards out front, Keselowski, Busch, 3rd and 4th, Rudiman, Leffler, 5th and 6th.
The inside lane has it, but the outside lane is digging.
Down the backstretch, a drag race, side by side. Carl Edwards has the advantage going into 3.
Boy, Steve, getting 3 wide that back straight a little while ago, trying to get double wide at least, getting into 3. But these restarts, these guys are on the throttle all over it. Fresh tires, man, makes them drive hard. They got the grip right now.
Got word from NASCAR, the 66 of Stephen Wallace was warned not to lay back on the restart, so we'll have to see if we have another one, what happens there. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, here comes side-by-side action. The 88 on the high side of Brad Keselowski as he is trying to get underneath and around on the high side of the 11. And boy, Kyle Busch is right there, and Bliss is not giving him any room.
No, you just got to believe when Bliss gets a little time on those tires, let those air pressures come up, they get right back like he was and start checking out again.
Oh, no! And Keselowski gets into the back of Bliss, sends him up the track. He makes a nice save, but he loses about 5 spots.
He just spot in the field. He'll be fine.
Got a big crash out of turn 4, guys. Another caution involving several cars. Eric McClure's in this one. Also, it looked like maybe the 23 of Richardson might have got a slight piece of it.
And Eric was sick this morning. He thought he was going to have Mark Green drive the car. This team with Renzi brothers as owners, Hefty's coming back. They're coming back next year. We're really excited. They didn't need this, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've got some debris all over the track, literally from the high side down to where you see Eric's car. And they're stopping the cars to make sure. And it was hard contact with that turn 4 wall, and we are under a red flag situation.
I guarantee you Mike Bliss is sitting there going, you tell that 88 car if he touches me again, I got a problem with him. And I guarantee you that he's thinking, how can he get to the bump that 88 and give a little love tap, a little payback?
Now, wait a second. What number is Bliss? The 11?
Yeah.
And I think the 88 has trouble with the 11 and the other series.
Well, when Denny's over here.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
I wonder if he just got a little colorblind and seen numbers.
Well, I'm sure that Mike Bliss is probably going to talk to him. Oh, and there is Kenny Wallace. Had his best qualifying effort this year. Qualified 5th. Here's what happened.
Kenny might have had a flat up top.
That could have been.
Oh, man.
Oh, he actually blows Kenny's left rear out.
Yep.
Somebody got into McClure. Can't tell who it was. Boy, he went hard into the wall.
Safer barrier right there.
I still didn't see the number there, guys. I got to be honest on who got into him.
Black car right there, either 92 or 29.
You know, taking a look at the 28 a little while ago, I think if he gets the tires back in that car, it's okay. It doesn't look like it really hurt anything. It hit the left rear tire, blew it out, spun him around. Then they all start crashing behind him.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm concerned about Eric McClure because that was straight into the wall. And think good thoughts, folks, because the safety crew is down there working to extricate him from the car. And there they are, gently taking him out. And Eric obviously is conscious.
Yes, well, when you hit the wall head on, you got your left foot on the brake pretty hard. And then sometimes it breaks an ankle.
Well, we won't speculate on what the injuries are, but it's obvious he needs support. So we'll wait for the official word from medical officials. And they just announced to the crowd that Eric was out, and that's the cheer that you heard. While they're taking care of Eric, we'll step aside for just a few moments here at Memphis Motorsports Park. We're under a red flag, our 9th caution of the day, after lap 165. Under a red flag situation here at Memphis Motorsports Park, we can tell you that the ambulance has just taken Eric McClure to the infield medical care unit. A rough day for him. He started the day sick, and he ends the day in the ambulance. Take another look. We've determined it is the 96 of Michael McDowell that gets into him, right side of your screen.
Well, something happened there with Kenny. He slowed up. I think the 24 lifted a little bit, got hit from behind, hit that safer barrier head on. Luckily, it was that safer barrier. That's one of the greatest inventions ever in this sport.
Okay, the safer barrier. Let's watch this one more time. Here he gets touched from behind, blows the left rear out of Kenny, slides across and left front hard in the safer barrier. He spins him around. And boy, that was a hard lick, but thank gosh that soft wall, safer barrier, or whatever you want to call it, was right there, because that really, you know, when they put this thing out, Marty, it took about 40% of the blow out of your body compared to hitting a regular concrete wall. Kudos to NASCAR for doing this. This has been a really cool safety feature, that's for sure.
Developed years ago in conjunction with the Indy Racing League, where they first started it, and then it literally grew around the country, and it's almost at every major track in this land of ours. We're going to take one more break as we continue to clean up. We'll get a report on Eric McClure as soon as we can. Well, we're under our red flag situation, and let's talk to Jason Keller, our in-race reporter, who's 15th right now.
Hey, Jason Keller, Rusty Wallace up at ESPN. You got us?
Yeah, go ahead, Rusty.
Jason, looks like you started off and the car was either a little tight or a little loose, something like that. You've been working on this car, and to us, it looks like it just keeps getting better and better. How's it feeling now?
Well, yeah, I think we're making some really good decisions in the pits, and it's just track position. You know, that's the thing that we're going to be battling here. And once you get around that top 10, it seems like everybody's running close to the same speed, so it's hard to just drive by them. But pretty proud of where we are now. We just got a long way to go. We went ahead and decided to pit. Try to get ourselves out of sequence a little bit because it is so tough to pass, and hopefully this thing cycles out in our favor, and we'll be there at the end.
Jason, have the restarts been trouble for you? We've talked about the double file restarts. Have they been a problem, or have they been okay?
Well, I hope they've been exciting for the fans, because they sure have been exciting for the drivers. I mean, you got to be all out as soon as the green flag falls. I mean, there's no gathering yourself. I mean, even on cold tires is one of the biggest problems. But you know, we just and the biggest thing, you know, as you talked about before the race, we just got to keep all the fenders clean and be able to race with them. I mean, we've raced hard to this point, but we've got to have something to race at the end. So that's our biggest goal.
All right, buddy. Thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it. Keep those fenders on that baby. It's looking good right now.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Well, Jason, 15th right now, has had top 15 finishes in 4 of his last 5 races, and 2 of those were in the top 10. So this is a team heading in the right direction, even though Jason's going to be leaving it at the end of the year. Back to a yellow flag. That means we're going to refire and get restarted when we come back to Memphis. How about a couple of must-win games Saturday Night Football on ABC? Most of you will see number 3 Texas in a critical conference showdown. They hit the road against Missouri. Some will see Oregon State take on USC. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here, but let's get a quick update from pit road on the leaders. Jack, what's going on with the 60?
Well, remember now, Carl Edwards has been playing a real cagey game. He dropped all the way back to, what was it, 8th or 9th as he tried to nurse his tires, saying, I want to have an extra set for the end of the race. Here's what the game plan is, guys, right now. They are going to go for another 40 to 50 laps. and then they will pit to take on their final, what they hope to be their final pit stop. Now, if you look at the number of tires, in terms of sticker tires that Carl's got, he's got one set back here. He's got one set up on the wall as well. So you say to yourself, well, why would he wait that long? Because Carl Edwards wants one spare set, Mike Massaro, in case there's a caution with 25 laps to go.
And a real similar situation down here in the 18 camp as well, Jack. This team has one set of stickers, one set of scuffs, but they're not going to make a stop pretty much for the same reason you just alluded to with the 60 team. Only 25 laps on this set of tires, and with the way we're seeing cautions fly, who knows how many more sets you could use. Rick?
Well, Mike, Brad Keselowski, another driver that has 2 sets of tires. But the concern is you come in now, you lose track position. They've got that extra set if they need them towards the end of the race, if they feel there's going to be a need. But right now, the situation is they're waiting to see what everybody else is going to do. If everybody else stays out, they stay out. If everybody comes in, they come in. But they do have the advantage of having that extra set of tires. We should mention Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss only has 1 set of tires. So he's down a little bit, and he was hoping for that last yellow to hit sometime within the last 50 laps or so.
All right, thanks for the update, guys, as we have yet to get an update on the medical condition of Eric McClure. We're standing by there at the infield care center. As soon as we get word, we will pass it along. He did need assistance getting to the gurney, but he was alert when they put him into the ambulance, and that was good news. And you can see that the jet dryers are out there just blowing off what track dust and debris there is. Matt DiBenedetto got the free dog pass, and he's in the pits now, as he is still 1 lap down. Or I should correct myself, he is now at the tail end of the lead lap.
I bet you all the cheese is going to be gone off that pizza as much as he's got that thing spun around. He's back on the lead lap, though. He'll end up, I bet you, I say in the top 10.
You know, you heard the guys talking about possible adjustments, including the track bar. Let's go to the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim Brewer filed this report for us from Martinsville.
When a crew chief calls for a track bar adjustment, you're going to see the crew member come over, put the handle in the right rear corner of the car. What's going to happen then, as he turns the lever, it's actually going to move the pivot point down on the track bar. By lowering the pivot point down, he's going to actually tighten the car up, make the car tighter, getting into the corner as well as from the center of the corner off. But to make the car freer, you simply reverse it, raise it up. That'll make the car drive a lot looser off the corner.
All right, thanks, Tim. Our red flag was 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Lights are out on the pace car. That means we will go green this time by. Let's reset it for you. Carl Edwards has chose the inside. It'll be Kyle Busch alongside. Then in row 2, Brad Keselowski, Jason Leffler. Row 3, David Ruderman and Stephen Wallace. Row 4, Mike Bliss and Scott Wimmer.
Because that outside worked for Kyle Busch last time on the restart, and our leaders chose the bottom. We'll see what happens here.
Green flag flies. We're back racing here at Memphis, and boy, Carl gets a great restart.
Oh, Carl just came through the gears big time, just outrun the pants off the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Good restart.
Keselowski side by side with Kyle going down the backstretch. Kyle trying to clear him now on the high side. And look at Leffler going door to door with Stephen Wallace.
Well, Kyle Busch, he says, okay, you beat me on this start. I'm going to come back and get you, sucker.
You can guarantee that 11 car of Bliss is still thinking about that 88 car. Brad Keselowski trying to get to his bump and do a little payback. He's mad, man.
Yeah, Bliss is running in 7th right now, and Brad Keselowski is 3rd, so he's got 4 cars he's got to work through if he wants to get a piece of him.
Yeah, let's not forget about what happened there. You saw the 88 just got in the backup, probably accidentally, but knocked Bliss way up the racetrack. He lost a lot of track position there, and now he's trying to get back through the field here.
Matt Kenseth and Scott Wimmer were duking it out there. You saw that going on for 8th. Here comes Justin Allgaier trying to get a piece of Wimmer as well. Whoa, and contact. Kelly Byers gets in and gets turned. Can he keep from getting hit? Does a complete 360. Oh, and then goes another 180. And that may bring out, yes, it does, our 10th caution. Kelly almost saved it.
Yes, he did.
He was fighting for 10th at the time. Justin Allgaier was able to keep his car from getting turned around. But unfortunately, Kelly was not.
That car's got a lot of front end damage right there. That's something that's going to be hard to fix because that front of the car is pushed up almost a foot on the front of Kelly Byers' car. Randy, that's a tough one to go fix.
That's right.
That pit area, that part is.
Yeah, that nose is up off the ground. It just ruined his day. We'll have to see what happened because man, he had a great run going. They worked hard on that race car, got it back up going to the front. We'll see what happens.
Well, you got to believe with 76 laps to go, the intensity level these drivers is starting to pick up. We've seen it all year long. As these laps wind down, these drivers get up in the seat, they get all jacked up, and you know, they drive a little aggressive.
Let's go on board with Kelly Byers. Let's listen.
Oh, it actually looks like
12 got loose.
12 car got loose. It was sideways, and Kelly already had the speed going. Man.
And it's that last
click that knocked his nose off. Yep.
Here's another view of it.
They just got stuck together. They come off the corner. The 12 got loose and just had the 33 had nowhere to go.
Jason Keller got by nicely. Then here's the last little spin, and boom, right there. That's
just
what stuffed the nose.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Marty. That's what really wiped his nose out. It looks like he had it saved in that one last spin here.
Jason Keller, watch how close this is.
You said the same thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing you do when you're driving these race cars. You inhale a lot. You're like, ooh.
And what about Jason Keller? I mean, talk about a veteran. This guy has been out there doing a fantastic job today, keeping that car out of trouble. And like he said, he's put some tires on it. He's been working on the chassis. And he's got that 27 car better. But this guy right here, Kelly Byers, a lot of work to do on that front end.
Yeah, Kelly is heading towards pit road. The number 1 of Landon Castle will be the lucky dog. And we do have an update on Eric McClure. Rick, what's the word?
And it is good news about Eric McClure. Just talked with the NASCAR officials that Eric is fine. He's going to have to follow up, talking with his family physician. Hopefully everything's okay there. But the important thing is, especially when we saw how hard that hit was, that according to a NASCAR official, Eric is fine. Back to you.
All right. Well, that is great news, and we will send our best along to he and the family, because that was a tough lick.
As it goes straight into the outside wall. That's a wreck that you know, Dean Sickens from Nebraska, isn't it? That did all of the work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then Andy Hillenberg is looking for a wall for Rockingham. They need to come up with a short track wall. Every concrete wall that any race car driver can hit, it needs to be turned into a safer barrier.
The wall is pretty pricey, and all these racetracks have been trying to afford to do that. A lot of them just went for it and put it in because it's such a safe device, Randy, like you said, and just about everybody's got it. Now I believe they're going to start putting it on the inside walls and almost all the racetracks too, because they really do need that.
Well, the short tracks too. That's where we need to go. The 33s, they're looking at this thing like, man, how do we get this thing back on the ground? You know, because you can't say a short tracker's life is any different than a cup guy's life.
We have completed 177 of 250 laps. We are currently in our 10th caution right now, as a total of 57 laps have been run under the yellow flag situation.
Byers is going to try to get this car back on the racetrack because his car is 4th in the owner's points for Kevin Harvick, and that's a very important thing. Keep those owner points going, because that's what guarantees you the start in these events.
Well, let's reset it for you as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. It's Edwards and Busch, then Keselowski, Wallace, Leffler, Rudeman 5th and 6th, Bliss and Kenseth 7th and 8th. Green flag flies. We're back racing again at Memphis. Not as good a start this time for the 60. Kyle's side by side with him.
He said, pal, you got me last time. I'm going to try you on the outside.
Shorter way around is that low line. Carl may not have him cleared, though. He does not yet. He's still got the bottom, though, and that's the valuable real estate at Memphis. Now he's got him clear.
Absolutely. You better watch the 38 and the 88. That inside line is going to come up underneath the 88. And the 11's on the inside.
Yeah, these restarts are really hairy. These guys are just fighting for this room. They're trying to get that real estate, get that inside lane, get that outside lane.
Stephen Wallace and Leffler going for 4th. Right behind him, you got Rudeman and Bliss. And Bliss, we talked about it, he's got a great car, especially on the long run. He's trying to fight his way back to the front after getting spun. Let's get an update on Stephen Wallace, Jack.
Guys, especially on that last series of restarts, Stephen Wallace was a bit concerned. He thought maybe his brakes were malfunctioning, and then he started adjusting, as Tim Brewer told us about that brake bias valve, and they got it back in. On that restart, he had it set where he wanted it, and he's off to the races.
Well, he's got his hands full right now as he has got Mike Bliss side by side with him. Bliss looks like he's going to be able to clear him. Yes, he does.
Well, I think what happened was I think he dialed some rear brake in it, and he got loose getting in because he got up the hill a little bit. So he's still messing with that brake bias.
Right. Matt Kenseth taking a peek.
Yeah, Steven's car is starting to slip and slide around a lot right now, and he's just going to have to hold on to this thing and just drive it up to the next pit stop because the tires have got quite a few laps on them right now.
Brendan Gaughan, Stevens' teammate, following the 16 right now as Stevens going in the wrong direction. Rudeman gets high. He's losing ground.
He got a little help from Jason Keller.
So Keller is now into the top 10 at 9th. Wimmer is 10th. Allgaier 11th. Rudeman's back to 12th.
You know, Randy, you talked about the brakes earlier in the broadcast when we took off. They got a different rear end gear in the car now, and it doesn't help slow the car down near as much. The drivers have to actually use more brake to slow them down, and that could be what's going on with Stevens' car right now because he's getting in the corner pretty deep and sliding up the hill, and just might have too much rear brake, and the front brake's actually going away a little bit.
Absolutely, and the more heat you put in those front tires, the tighter it gets, and it's really not going to turn then.
Jason Keller right there taking a look underneath. Here is the battle as there he goes, Mike Bliss around Brad Keselowski, and he is Bliss now third. No contact as he made the pass.
I do believe the 88 says, okay, go ahead. I didn't really mean to hit you, but usually drivers never mean to hit anybody, but we always kind of intend to.
Now, that was a good move on behalf of Brad Keselowski because he knew that Bliss had a bullseye on him.
Absolutely.
Well, but here's the bigger picture as far as the dollars and cents of it. Right now, Kyle Busch is second in this race. Kyle would win the points championship for that nationwide dash for cash. That's 50 grand in Kyle's pocket and not in Brad's. Who would get the 25,000 right now? Well, it's going to be the race winner, and if it turns out to be Carl Edwards, our current leader, he would pick up that 25. All right, let's go back and check on the 99. Remember, we saw him go high coming through turn 2. Let's go on board with Jason Keller.
Go down into 1. Talking about brakes. He's on them hard. Oh, not hard enough.
Yeah, I think Jason really had a head of steam. Remember, he's got fresh tires in that number 27 car. Rudeman doesn't.
That was very similar to what the 88 and the 12 did earlier in the race.
Yeah, Keller last pitted on lap 157. And Rudeman back on lap 126. That gives you an idea of the difference in the tires. Here comes Kenseth taking a peek underneath Jason Leffler. Meanwhile, there goes Kelly Byers. He's lap traffic.
You know what I've been watching here? The 20 car. Di Benedetto has come back up. He's right outside the top 10 now.
He has gotten back to 12th. Remember, he got the lucky dog after the last caution. Let's get an update on Matt Kenseth. Mike?
Well, Marty, as we heard Tim Brewer explain, talking about track bar adjustments, well, it reminded me that may be what helped Matt Kenseth in the 16 car. It wasn't too long ago, about 25 laps ago or so, he described the car as terrible. However, on their last pit stop, they dropped the track bar a round and a half, and suddenly the car is much better.
Well, he's got Brendan Gaughan all over him, and that is for position for 5th on the racetrack.
Yeah, and one thing you got to remember about Brendan Gaughan, he had that right side damage. The team has been down pit road several times. They got the right side fixed. They got the right front fender pulled out, and they got fresh tires on it, and now the car's starting to go back to the front.
And he has cleared Matt Kenseth to move Gaughan up to 5th. His next target would be Brad Keselowski. A little further back, you saw there was Jason Keller, as he is side by side with Jason Leffler. One of the Jasons is going to be an 8th.
This is true. Fastest car on the racetrack, the 11 car.
And Mike Bliss currently running 3rd in that 11 car.
You know, you just got to wonder that last pit stop when Mike Bliss was actually leading, got passed by Carl Edwards, if that car was starting to give up. Looks like on the last stop now for Bliss, they made some good adjustments and got the speed back in that number 11 car.
Well, and remember, he has been better on the longer runs, and Kyle hasn't been as good the longer we go.
Well, you know, Rusty, you know, when somebody gets in your mirror, it gets in your head. You're like, okay, why is this guy better than me? You start missing your marks. It's easier to catch a guy. Carl caught him, and he's like, okay, I'm missing my marks. I got to get back in my rhythm. And it took Keselowski to straighten him out. He says, okay, get back in the game, pal.
Well, the race leader is Carl Edwards by 1.7 seconds over Mike Bliss. Kyle Busch is 3rd. Let's get an update from Jackaroo.
And Carl Edwards right now trying to stay smooth. The car is a bit free, both in. It's it's nice and neutral in the center, but it's awfully free, he says, on the way out. But what he wants to know, and he's trying to keep updated, he keeps asking his crew, where is Bliss? Where is Bliss? Carl Edwards has been calling it since about, maybe lap 70 or so. His only concern in this race has been Mike Bliss. He wants to know how fast Bliss is. And remember, he also wanted to know how many sets of tires does Bliss still have.
Oh, and Kelly Byers has drifted up into the wall. I don't think it's going to bring out a caution, though, as he was able to get refired.
Blew a right front tire. Probably a piece of sheet metal come off and damaged.
Here's fourth place. As you can see, Brendan Gaughan has caught up to Brad Keselowski, and he's underneath him. Can he make it stick? Look out. Byers just cut across there to get on the pit road to get out of the way with that blown tire.
I mean, that's 2 passes in a row that Brendan Gaughan went on the bottom.
I tell you, Gaughan's got a good car right now. I mean, he really didn't know what he had at the start of this race, but they have got that thing hooked up. Dale Ferguson, his crew chief, doing a fantastic job, and Brendan's driving good.
Usually the bottom's quicker than the top.
Well, we talked about how Brendan loves the top of the track, and he's got away from the top, and now he's back on the bottom.
Well, Brendan's best finish this year was second, and that was back at Lowe's in May. You can see the top 5 right there. We're approaching the 200 lap mark here at Memphis Motorsports Park. A lot still to unfold. To see who wins, stay with us. The chase for the Sprint Cup is at the halfway mark. Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon trying to close the gap on Jimmy Johnson. It's at Martinsville, and coverage begins tomorrow on ABC at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's all presented by Goodyear. Back here at Memphis Motorsports Park, Carl Edwards coming up on some lap traffic as we've had a better long run here under green flag conditions. He's got a 2.3 second lead as he goes around Kelly Byers in the 33. And let's check in on Eric McClure. There he is. Let's talk to him, Rick.
And good news, Eric McClure released from the medical center. Let's talk about how are you feeling right now? What kind of damage?
I'm a little bit sore. I'm okay. The safety equipment at NASCAR's got going on, and the Team Rinsey team was good. It really did its job. A little bit sore, but I think I'll be okay.
You were saying you didn't think you could hit the wall that hard, get fast enough to hit it that hard here.
No, I really didn't. It looks like you're going so slow out there. You know, we struggled today. We had just put on our set of tires for the race, and we were up there running with some good guys, having a lot of fun. And there was a couple of guys bounced off of each other, and we just had to get out of the gas just a little bit and got hit from behind. But I definitely hit the wall hard. But, you know, there are worse things in life. But want to say hey to Miranda back home. It's her birthday. Sorry I can't be there. And we'll go home, take the kids to Disney this week, and we'll come back to Texas.
All right. Once again, Eric McClure looking at that hard hit. Not doing bad.
And as you finish up, Jason Keller is spraying for mosquitoes and going backwards fast. He had cracked into the top 6, and now it looks like he has got serious troubles. He has been given the black flag. That's the view out the back.
That tire smoke, it smells like tire smoke. You see his right front tire damage, or the fender damage a little bit. See it? Yep. Hopefully don't blow his right front tire.
Yeah, it actually looks like the fender's just down on the right front. I thought it was an engine at first, but yeah, you're right, Randy. It looks like tire smoke now.
We're being told that these laps will not count for Jason Keller, so a good day has really gone south as he has not adhered to the black flag. Now he is coming in pit road. So a tough break. Their strategy was working. He had gotten to the 6th position on the track. They put those tires on, as he mentioned in our in-race report with him. But now the damage on that right front, and his race is effectively over.
Now what about strategy? You look at a 62 car, he's coming to the front. Michael Annette has done an awesome job. And Di Benedetto, these guys all fitted late in the race here, and they got fresher tires, and they are coming to the front.
You're exactly right. I mean, you're talking Brendan Gaughan. He was in at lap 157. He is flying up to the field right now. Looked like he's about ready to catch Bliss and get around Mike Bliss. Brendan's got a fast hot rod right now, and also with the other fellows you just mentioned, Matt, Di Benedetto. He come in at lap 169. He's actually got 10 lap fresher tires than anybody.
And there he goes to take over 2nd position. So here is Brendan Gaughan with a 2.1-second deficit to Carl Edwards, the race leader. And remember, he has 31 lap fresher tires than anybody in the top 5. Jason Keller, you can see going back out, but there's still a lot of smoke.
He just pulled behind the wall. He must have an oil leak problem.
Let's get more from Mike.
And Randy, you're absolutely right. You can see the puddle of oil in their pit stall. A major leak there. They never actually popped the hood and looked underneath. They determined that smoke was because of that oil leak. The car now back behind the wall. It looks terminal for the 27.
So while it looked like it was the tire, it really did turn out to be an engine problem.
Well, that smoke was coming out of that right front fender and just kind of tricked us into thinking it was the tire, but actually something went amiss, oil leak or something. Looks like the engine's not blown up on it. It looks like it's still running.
Well, they do need oil and water.
Yeah.
It was going to be blowing up here soon.
Hey guys, this is very interesting with Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch. Remember the Dash for Cash money from Nationwide. In the championship, that's for the total points for the 4 races. Kyle came in leading by only 5 over Brad. Right now, Brad is in front of him. He would have the $50,000 bonus if my numbers are correct. But it's far from over yet. If Kyle gets around him, well, then Kyle would have that $50,000 bonus. And we'll have to wait, because here comes Michael Annett. Michael, with that charge that he has put on, with all that damage, that earlier incident that he had, he has just gone past Kyle Busch. So move Busch back to 6th and Annett up to 5th.
That's what 40-lap fresher tires will do for you. Annett's got 40-lap fresher tires. He's went right past Kyle Busch. And like we talked earlier, that's what Brendan Gaughan's got and some other guys. The 20-car Mattia Bento, that's really helped him a ton.
All right, right now, there's nobody pressing in the top 5 for a position, so we're going to take our last green flag break. 35 laps to go. We'll take you to the checker when we come back to Memphis Motorsports Park.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Memphis is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR, and Verizon Wireless. Verizon customers, text JSKI to 4ESPN to submit a question to NASCAR Insider JSKI. Standard messaging rates apply.
Battle here for the race lead. Brendan Gaughan has gotten around Carl Edwards. He's got those fresher tires by 31 laps, and it is paying dividends as he has fought his way back and has taken the lead. He becomes our 7th different leader with 11 lead changes now.
He drove underneath Carl, went into turn 1 and went halfway up the hill, and Carl almost got back by him.
Behind these two, another second back is Mike Bliss. Michael Annett has moved into 4th. Brad Keselowski is 5th. Kyle Busch has dropped all the way back to 8th behind Matt DiBenedetto, who has done a nice job of coming back to 6th. Remember, he was a lap down. Let's go back and show you the lead change.
Watch this, Rusty. Going into turn 1, he just drives it in there and he says, okay, I got to slow down. Whoa, got a little loose. And Carl says, okay, I'll grab that spot back.
Ties the record for most leaders in this race, set back in 2003. We have had 7 different leaders right now. There is the man that everybody's chasing. Now the question is, who needs to stop for fuel if this stays green? Because we're on our longest green flag stretch. I know that's probably the kiss of death, but we're well over 40 laps on this run.
Well, you know what? There's 25 laps to go. If this thing goes green, there's no catching the 62. He's going to be gone.
Well, Rick, let's get an update on the 62.
Yeah, let's talk about how this team has done this today. Slow but sure. They have slowly but surely worked on this car. Air pressure adjustments the whole way. The last time they made a stop, well, they got everything right on 126, and now they are set to go. They believe all the way to the end. Now the question is, do they want to do that? They have 2 sets of scuffs out there. They can go ahead and change tires as it gets late if they have to. But right now they have to be concerned about that track position.
Well, and everybody was talking about 25 laps being the key number. We're now at 24 to go. But listen to this, guys. In the last 5 races here, there has been a caution within the last 10 laps.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I hope it goes green flag all the way to the end.
Car owner.
I can't imagine why.
Well, Rusty, you've been a car owner for 3 years, and you won your 2nd time out, so you kind of had a little dry spell, haven't you?
I've had way too much of a dry spell. I hope we can pull this thing off. There's a lot of racing left to go here. 23 laps to go. We all know that late in these races, that's when the demons come out and these guys get all jacked up and the cautions happen.
Let's move a little bit further back because, and the caution has just come out. We're getting ready to talk about Kenny Wallace, who has fought his way back after getting turned in a flat tire to 10th. And the caution comes out with 23 laps to go. They say there is debris in the groove in turn 1, and there it is.
Piece of paper.
Oh, please don't tell me it's paper.
It's a piece of paper.
But see, again, just like what happened to us at Charlotte, if it had a little shine to it, you look at it, how do you know for sure?
Binoculars.
Well.
That's a piece of paper.
Unfortunately.
What are we doing? Okay, a lot of guys are pitting.
There's going to be a lot of guys
they're
coming out
lined
with
up.
tires.
Pit road is open.
Well, you almost have to now because anybody behind you that pits, if Brendan stays out, and he is not, he is coming because the others would, and he'd be a sitting duck.
He's got scuffs, and everybody else has stickers.
Yeah, he forced everybody to come down pit road. He dived down there, and Carl Edwards thought twice, and he went with him.
50 laps of green flag racing on that run. And here we are for the money stop as we'll send it to Mike Massaro.
And there was lots of debate on the radio between Eddie Pardue and Matt Kenseth as to what they should do tire-wise, whether to go 4 or 2. They've elected to go with 4 tires. They've completed their service on the right side of the car, swinging around the left side, completing their stop. Jack?
4 tires and a can of Sunoco fuel for Carl Edwards as well. He now has a set of new Goodyears on there, Rick.
Indeed, Brendan Gaughan has done so well. More air pressure adjustments. That's all they really want to do. Get him back out. They have a set of scuffs. Now, Mike Bliss up front, they put on 4 tires. They put on 4 new tires and sent him back out.
Well, you can see that Edwards picks up 1, Bliss picks up 1. So does Keselowski. Brendan the loser, -3. And then Kyle Busch picks up 3 as well. So he moves 5th coming out of the race off pit road.
This was a money stop.
It was the pit crews. The pit crews had to win the race for the teams this one. And Brendan's team lost 3 positions. Very well lost in the race.
And a piece of paper didn't help.
And a piece of paper on the track that brought out the caution.
Landon Castle's going to get the lucky dog. That'll put him back on the lead lap. That'll give us a total of 20 cars on the lead lap. There's Michael Annett. He stayed out and is our current race leader. Now, he last pitted on lap 167. The problem is there are going to be, what, you think maybe 18 laps to go, 17? Is he a sitting duck?
Way, yes. He's all done. I do believe. I mean, as good as his run's been, he probably had scuffs tires too in the pits. He goes, you know what? I got scuffs on this thing. Instead of going back to wherever, however many pitted, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to try to do this and catch a bunch of cautions. You don't never know.
Well, he becomes our record-setting 8 different leader with our 12th lead change, Rick DeBrule.
Yeah, let's talk about Michael Annett and the fact that they're definitely playing the track position game. He can go all the way to the end, but as you said, what he's going to have to do now is try to hope that they get some short runs, get some yellows that can prevent everybody else from taking advantage of them. Because as these tires begin to go away, and the teams have said they're really great for about 50 laps. After that, they start to fade a little bit. If he starts to fade, obviously these guys are going to gobble him up.
Well, the 96 of Michael McDowell gets the wave around, and we have gotten the signal for 1 lap to go. It will be Michael Annett, Kenny Wallace first and second, Tony Raines third. Remember, Raines and that team had a good run last week at Lowe's. And then it is Carl Edwards in 4th, Bliss 5th. So the guys with fresh tires are sitting there just chomping at the bit.
I'm pulling my seatbelts tight because this is going to be big.
You guys think you see some aggressive driving? I mean, wait, just like you said, wait to this. This is the perfect scenario for some major aggressive drives, some major crashes. We've seen this a lot. These drivers get amped up, they get jacked up, they get after it.
All right. This time by, we will have 18 laps to go. And you got to wonder what's going through Michael Annett and Kenny Wallace's minds, because they know just behind them is all these fresh tires.
Don't spin the tires.
Yeah, it's like, please help me now. Green flag is out. We're racing again at Memphis. Tony Raines taking a look underneath on the low side, but Annett slams the door.
Everybody. Bliss up on the bottom. 3 wide. Going in it. Whoa!
Whoa! Carl gets tapped from behind. Look out. Could get hit. He gets Allgaier and then gets tagged by another car that comes into the view there. I can't see the number because they're backlit from the sun. It is the 32 of Brian Eichler, the 29 of Stephen Light. Oh, and Matt DiBenedetto is also involved in this. You mentioned it, aggressive driving. We just saw it. Able to get refired, so he will not go a lap down, but now those tires are flat spotted.
Man, this is tough for the championship chase for Carl Edwards trying to run down Kyle Busch. That just put him 239 points behind Kyle right now as we're running. And what positions are in currently?
Eichler has the most damage. The nose got punched in on his race car. There you can see on the 32. Let's go back and take another look. Carl was 4th, and
well, looks like Brad Keselowski gets in the back of the 60 car and spins him. And here they go. And Justin Allgaier gets a hunk of that, gets his right side door ripped off.
Third time today that Brad has been involved with some kind of contact. There's going to be some people that want to talk to him, I think.
Yeah, pretty aggressive driving out of Brad right now. I mean, it's just, again, guys, it's getting late in the race, and this guy's up on the wheel and getting jacked up, but that was down the straightaway. Jack?
Well, the first thing they do is they put on their final set of sticker tires. They had hoped they weren't going to be able to use them. Surveying the car for damage as well, making sure that all the fenders are flared out enough so that they won't rub on the tires. And it looks as if they do have a slight problem on the outside that they're trying to tend to right now. And that's where they're trying to get some debris from underneath the wheel well in the right front. And so this is going to be a long stop for Carl Edwards. And, they do wave him away, and we'll just have to wait and see. They were able to pull some of the debris out, so it was a piece of the side skirt that they actually had to peel off the car, guys.
Well, they had to get him back out because he would have gone a lap down.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the rocker panel, the welds have busted loose on the right side of the door where it welds into the frame rail, and that's what fell out from underneath the car. Let's take a look at this again.
Right. It looked like Carl was trying to clear Kenny Wallace, heading to the bottom of the racetrack, and it's hard to drive when your back tires are off the ground.
Intensity, buddy.
Maybe he was bump drafting him, sort of like Talladega at the beginning of the year.
I think maybe Brad thought he could just keep pushing him and pushed him right around.
On board with Justin Allgaier. Let's listen. Oh! Can't see the glare, the sun.
Hard hit with Allgaier.
And Brian Eichler's car being pushed back behind the wall. Tough break for that team. They were looking pretty good today. And they've got radiator damage, so his day is over. 15 laps to go right now, and we're still at least one more lap before we go green. It is Michael Annette still out in front, but Mike Bliss has moved into second. Tony Raines is third. Let's check in with Rick DeBrule.
Yeah, let's talk with Paul Wolf, who is Mike Bliss's crew chief, and you're saying just simple adjustments. It's been a great day so far.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend. All the guys have worked really hard preparing this car back at the shop. The Ride Makers Toyota it's just been easy to work with, I guess you could say. Small adjustments, and of course we got a wheelman, and that makes up for a lot of it. So just been a fun weekend, and we'll see what we can do. I think we've been one of the stronger cars all day, and we'll see if Mike can finish it off.
All right, Paul Wolf up here calling the shots, but he says really it's Bliss who's doing the work.
Well, and let me correct myself. He's going to restart third. There was a bit of a glitch on the scoring monitor. So he will come back behind in row number 2, right behind on the inside at least. So he has that low line that he likes.
You got to commend his race team, Rusty. I was talking to those guys. This is a race car that they built for short tracks. They lowered the center of gravity. And man, does that matter so much at any racetrack. That's what all these the Nationwide and the Cup cars are all trying to get the center of gravity a little bit lower. They did a lot of work on this car, and it's paying off today.
Yeah, a lot of teams told me also, Randy, that's one of the prettiest cars they've seen. A really good workmanship on the car. Really a lot of work on a short track effort, just like you said. And Bliss is really, man, he's driving the wheels off this thing, but he can smell victory right now because the guys in front of him, they don't have near as fresh as tires as Mike does.
He's picked up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps, and he has moved into 6th place in the points as of right now. So we'll wait to see what happens. Remember also the $25,000 winner bonus could be claimed by Michael Annette, Tony Raines, if they can hold on, or Mike Bliss.
And right now, Brad Keselowski's got the same amount of tires on his tires as Mike Bliss. And Keselowski's being awful aggressive out there. That's one thing Bliss has got to remember. They know they got a guy behind them that wants to win bad also. He wants that cash for that dash for cash.
Well, the two contenders for the points championship are right in front of each other. Keselowski in front of Kyle Busch. As we come out of turn 4, pace car is off. We will have 12 to go this time by. And the green flag is out, and we're racing again at Memphis. Our 12th caution is over.
88 looking to the inside.
Oh, you talk about aggressive. And he goes for it. He gets underneath, and now he's looking underneath for the race lead. And Busch is going to go follow him. Boy, Bliss gets blocked out by the melee of everybody else slowing down. And boy, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch take a huge advantage. Tony Raines is third, but he's under attack.
Unbelievable restart for Brad Keselowski. You could just feel that he was getting aggressive. He came through the gearbox and the start-finish line, pulled that thing down, and just dusted off Mike Bliss, and Bliss has got to be sick right now.
That's right. He did what Bliss should have done. That's what happened. When the guy, Annette, didn't go as good as he did. Keselowski did nothing wrong. He got a great start. And
we got somebody turn. Michael Annette is going around. So his great run is in the wall.
You know, Bliss is saying, come on, throw a yellow, throw a yellow. And they're not going to throw a yellow.
It stays green right now. He was running in 8s. Remember, he was on older tires. He was getting the shuffle back, but a great move. Also, Justin Allgaier has slowed. Back on the backstretch, we can tell you.
Yellow's out.
And the yellow is out because Allgaier is having trouble making it to pit road. So our 13th caution of the day, and there is what's left of Allgaier's car on the right side.
Now that's going to put Bliss third on the inside. So this is going to be a real 1, 2. They're putting him fourth on the inside. Well, I don't think he's have enough time.
This could really hurt Allgaier in the Rookie of the Year points because Brendan Gaughan, who's third right now, was only 18 behind coming into this race. And remember, Allgaier right now sitting 5th in that final spot for the podium at the year-end awards ceremony. All right, let's find out what's going on with the 88s. Rick?
Yeah, standing by with Tony. Uri Sr. has been watching Brad Keselowski out there. We were going to talk to you about aggressive driving, but that was a great move that Brad just did.
Yeah, we figured those cars wasn't going to take off with those old tires. The tire, you put 10 laps on tires like old Darlington and Rockingham here. Cars just fall off so fast. So we knew it was going to be a cluster when they took off. So hopefully we can keep it up there.
Did you guys have any discussions about trying to make sure you stay at the front, be aggressive, work hard to make sure that if anything happens, you got to be at the front of this?
Well, you got to stay at the front in Memphis. This is a pretty tough old racetrack. It's hard to pass. Our car's damaged, so clean air is surely going to help our car. So hopefully we can keep it there.
Got enough for the run to the end?
I don't know. We're going to line back up again here, so scoring on how much Kyle holds him down here, I guess.
All right, Pop's crossing his fingers.
All right, well, we have been updated from NASCAR. The actual caution was for debris that they had seen at the start-finish line during the same time that Michael Annette was having his problem. There was a piece of metal that they did go out and pick up, so we wanted to correct that, make sure that that was right, and it was a piece of metal. All right, we've talked about how it's been an aggressive day for the 88 of Brad Keselowski. And here he is when he gets into contact with Justin Allgaier.
Well, there you go. And then with the 60, he just kind of lifts him up on a restart. 60 didn't get going.
And then this last restart, watch him there. He's inside of Bliss. Bliss tries, but can't slam the door on him. And then when Annette drifts up on those old tires, he says, thank you very much.
He did nothing. He wasn't aggressive. He just did what a race car driver does. And Bliss is kicking himself right now.
All right, we are down to, it'll be 6 next time by, and we still haven't gotten the word yet when we're going to go back to green. It'll be 1, we've just been told, this time by. So let's reset this, because remember, the guys that are on the front row have $75,000 at stake between Brad Keselowski in the Nationwide Dash for Cash and Kyle Busch. Kyle leads by 5, so literally whoever finishes the race first between those two would win the money totally, $75,000. Let's go to Rick, or Mike, I'm sorry.
And catching up with Jason Radcliffe, you're in a position to pull this off. How do you get by the 88?
Well, we've struggled a little bit on our FedEx Camry today. It seems like it'll take off really good for about 20 laps, and then it just gets too tight right right here on this last stall, we took a pretty big swing at it, so hopefully it's in the right direction, and if it is, I think we got a shot at it.
Well, we will find out, Marty. They've got a shot at this.
Yes, they do. So that's the one subplot. Right behind him is Team Wallace, gone third, Steven fourth. And then there's Jason Leffler fifth, Matt Kenseth sixth, Carl Edwards is seventh, and Mike Bliss is eighth.
This is a very crucial restart. You know, this is don't spin the tires. And you know Kyle Busch is going to try his darndest to run the outside here.
Bringing him down awfully slow. Green flag flies. This time by 5 laps to go. And what a restart for Keselowski. He has clear open air. Third right now is Stephen Wallace.
Got a great run up on it.
There's Leffler trying to get under Brendan Gaughan. Here comes Bliss on the low side as well. Leffler trying to get underneath Wallace as they come past the start-finish line with 4 laps to go. Leffler getting underneath the 66. He pinches him just a little. Gives him enough room, though. No contact so far.
These guys got the belts tight. Don't run out of room, guys.
Down the backstretch. This is the best race going. Here comes Bliss taking a peek. Can't get it done.
And these guys are all out of time right now. They're all out of patience. They know it's about done. 4 laps to go.
3 wide at the stripe. You can see up front, nothing's really changed. It's all Brad Keselowski. Boy, Bliss wants to get back towards the front as much as he can. His best finish here in 4 prior starts has been second.
A whole lap, 3 wide. What a great job by all 3 of these drivers.
Ooh, they got to hold on.
Whoa! And the 66 gets turned the 3rd week in a row. And he is into the wall.
Kenseth spins him with 2 laps to go.
Caution is out, and we will have a green-white checker, folks.
I tell you what, if he throws his helmet this week, go ahead. That's unbelievable.
All right, there's the damage. It looks like he'll be able to finish, but it's not going to be the finish that he was looking for. His best run this year has been a 5th. And of the last 10 short track races, and we're going to keep an eye out to see if he wants to go after Matt Kenseth, because it was the 16 that sort of got into him and turned him. And he's just fallen into place. Let's take you back to last week, as it was late in the race at the Lowe's Motor Speedway when it was 4 wide. David Gilliland tried to go underneath, and there was just nothing there. And this is the end result.
Well, the worst thing is, Rusty, is when he runs good. When you run good, stuff happens, and that's just, it's hard to take. And, you know, been there, done that. I've broken a couple of helmets myself.
Yeah, this is a tough one right here, because he saw Justin Allgaier with his problems. He was gaining big points on the top 5, and now he's got this problem. But the last 4 or 5 races, the car has actually been really fast, and he knows that. And that's what he's so frustrated about right now.
All right, here's another replay. Keep an eye on the 16. There it is.
Just jacks him in the left rear corner. And it doesn't take, these cars are so light when they go through that corner right there. You could almost reach out from the wall and spin the guy out by just pushing it or kicking it with your leg.
This will be our 9th green-white checker of 2009, the 6th straight here at Memphis.
Well, didn't you call within 10 laps? There's usually cautions.
Yeah, there's been at least one in last 5 races, and now 6. They are trying to bang that car back into one piece. He is still on the lead lap. We have 20 cars on the lead lap right now. Justin Allgaier is the last car in 20th position that's on that lead lap. It's still going to come down, though, to that shootout. And remember, it's Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch. And remember what's at stake with the nationwide dash for cash, $75,000.
I do believe if Kyle gets a better start, he didn't get a good start at all last time. If he gets a better start and they go into turn 1 side by side, you know, he might end up on the drag strip over there.
Well, on board with Kyle in the FedEx colors this week, and that's to pay tribute to the home base of FedEx right here in Memphis. Was it 30,000 people? I think they said in the pre-race show that they were team members that work for FedEx in this area.
Who's the guy with that soccer ball? Wilson, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Waiting for a word from NASCAR. Lights are out. We'll be going green this time by. Now remember, one attempt is all that will be made. Anything that happens, and whoever is across the line, scoring line, will win the race. It is Keselowski and Busch, Leffler and Bliss, then Gaughan, Kenseth, then in 7th it's Edwards, Rudiman 8th. But keep your eyes on the front two because of the dash for cash. Neither one is going to lift. Coming out of 4, pace car is in, and hold your breath because Brad slows him down and then gets on the gas, and he's first across the line. But Kyle is right there with him. But again, going into 1, it's a lot closer this time than the last. Leffler right behind, but again, Keselowski clears by turn 2.
Bring it around. I don't believe he has anything for him unless he misses his marks and gets the thing real loose. He's trying on the inside.
This time by, the white flag will be out. Brad Keselowski, 3/4 of a mile away from 75,000 big ones. Kyle Busch right behind him. Down the backstretch for the last time. Does Kyle have anything left that he can get underneath? They go into 3. Nobody else is going to contend for this. Hang on. Coming through 4. It is. Oh, and he turns him. He gets into him, but boy, he recovers and Keselowski wins.
Unbelievable. He held on to that thing. That 75 was almost going down the drain right then, but he held on to it.
What a finish. $75,000 bonus from Nationwide for Brad Keselowski as he picks up his 6th win in his 101st start, but none bigger than this. Let's go to Rick.
Hey, we're standing here with Pops, just talking with his crew beforehand. We just got to congratulate you. You had a few doubts there at the very end. You said your car was a little wounded.
Yeah, she was a little wounded. But that boy we got in the seat there, he's pretty tough. You know, I know he was aggressive today and got into a couple people, but hey, he's done everything we've asked him all year long. It's his 4th win in a year. I hate to see him go, really. We had a lot of fun with him.
Well, it's been a lot of fun today. Congratulations, Pops.
And of course, he goes to Penske Racing next season to run the full Cup schedule and Nationwide as he'll come back. Boy, he won the 75,000, and that was at hand. And and down in pit road, I can tell you the 66 has just nudged his car into the 16.
Well, I think it's going to help him get out of the car.
I think there's going to be a few words exchanged.
Which, I mean, when you're a Cup champion, there's no need for that.
There it is, right there.
A part-time guy.
And now NASCAR officials quickly, and he has been ordered directly to the hauler. 3 weeks in a row, he has been involved in deals, and none of his making really on those. Let's hear from Kyle Busch. Mike?
And Kyle Busch just catching his breath right now, guys. Let's try to step in here. And Kyle, it came down to those last 2 laps. You gave it everything you had. How would you describe those final 2 laps?
I don't know, just trying hard, trying to win a race, but should be happy with what we had here with a 2nd place finish. We didn't have a car that should have finished in the top 10 today, but I broke another record and lost a lot of money today.
At the same time, though, you saw the 60 had a few troubles in the closing laps there. You opened up your championship lead, 3 to go. Do you feel like you put this thing away?
No, he drove through everybody to get back up to 6. There's still any man's race. Him or I can win in the next 3-4 races, however many are left. So, whatever. Thank FedEx. Appreciate their support. Thank all the team members for being out here today and 35,000 strong employees and everybody. So, sorry we didn't get one spot better. I couldn't put it to myself to spin them out.
Wasn't for a lack of trying, guys. Kyle Busch gave it everything he had.
It's his 11th 2nd place finish this year. Here's the last lap. And take a look as we're on board with Kyle the whole way. Listen to it as we head down.
He might be a little upset
the
with us.
home stretch. And we're back at Memphis. This was the scene as Brad Keselowski, boy, you win $150,000 total. He swept the entire nationwide Dash for Cash with the win here today. His 4th win of 2009 as, boy, it was just a drag race to the finish. He's already gotten out of the car. I guess that's okay when you realize they're talking about a big payday. Let's go to Rick.
Yeah, in fact, we're down here changing the check. The check says $25,000. Brad got a Sharpie, and he's making it $75,000 because he's going to get the bonus as well for winning the whole thing. We got to talk about this race, though. It was some pretty seriously aggressive driving. There were more than a few taps you had on other guys out there.
Yeah, you know, that's short track racing. This tire is so slick, and this racetrack's so tight, and it's really hard to see with all the sun. And I got in the back of Carl. That's the one I feel the worst about. I didn't know he was going to make that move, but you know, that's the box we're put into. Is the harder you race and the rougher you race, the more you're rewarded, it seems like. So I might have got a little too far out there a couple times, but you know, the fans love it, and we got to thank them, and we got to put on a show that they like, and they like this show. You can see it right out here. So I got to thank all them fans that came out and watched.
Let's talk about the last lap. You're going on that last lap. You got Kyle behind you, and you got a little nudge right across the line.
Oh, it felt like I was getting nudged all the way around. It's just the tires were cold. I was so loose. I needed 3 or 4 laps to get going, and I was spinning out loose by myself, and then he helped me a little bit, and we were able to save it and beat him to the line with this Delphi Chevrolet. And how about that, Delphi and Victor Lane? Delphi means a lot to me. They're from Troy, right next to Rochester Hills, where I grew up. So glad I could get them in Victor Lane.
As we were talking to Pops just before we came down here, he said, God, I wish I could keep this guy. I'm sorry he's going.
Well, it's been a great ride with this 88 team. You know, they continue to give me good cars, and this has been so fun of a season. I'll never forget this. This is great.
All right, Brad Keselowski here in Victory Circle with a $75,000 check and a trophy of Elvis.
Well, there is the celebration, and I want to get to one thing real quickly because we're going to be running out of time. He admits he's driving aggressive. That he says that's the way. You guys have been there. It's okay until it comes around the other way, right?
Well, what goes around comes around, that's for sure. He's got Denny Hamlin mad at him. He's got Carl Edwards mad at him. He's starting to build some credits, and he's just got to be a little careful right now. We love aggressive driving. He's doing a great job. He's winning, but he's got to kind of look out just a little bit now.
Is it okay that the next time he gets turned, as long as he doesn't complain?
Well, you know, yes, because he when you dish out, you got to be able to take, and that's one thing. It all depends, like I said earlier, whose trailer you stand on, how you see this stuff.
Well, he was 32nd back on lap 42, and he comes back to win. Let's check in with Jack Ruby's caught up with Carl Edwards.
Yeah, and the first thing Carl Edwards wants to do is he wants to see the replay, guys, because he wants to figure out. Now, Carl, you did get an opportunity to listen to what Brad had to say. Take a look at the replay and see if you can figure it out.
Yeah, I was turning back down across here, and well, I still can't see how well he had me hooked there, but I hope it's just a racing deal. I mean, I like Brad. I like him a lot. I don't know that he probably didn't go out there thinking, hey, I'm going to wreck him, but he probably didn't give me any space either. But just wanted to win this race. We had a fast race car, Save-A-Lot, Scott's, Aflac, you know, all my sponsors. You know, Dan and the guys worked really hard. This Susan G. Coleman car was fast. I mean, just so much fun to drive out here. The Goodyear tires and this surface are so great. Just too bad it ended like that, man. I was sawing at the wheel. I just didn't have enough turning to save.
You ran out of wheel.
Yeah, I did. I thought I had it back to the when I was going to the right, but I don't know. I'll talk to Brad about it. You know, I mean, it's right.
Hey, it's not that many years ago, though, you were in Brad Keselowski's position. Would you have done this sort of stuff to a Cup regular?
I have done it. We've all done it. We've all wrecked each other. So far be it for me to stand here and say, you know, shame on him, because I've wrecked plenty of people. I ran into, you know, Justin Allgaier there trying to get back through the pack. So I'll talk to Brad about it. But, you know, if it is that's how we're going to race, then that's how we'll race. And if he wants it to be exciting for the fans, I can make it exciting. So I'll just talk to him and we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks.
And that's exactly what we were just talking about. What goes around comes around, and as long as you're willing to take it when it gets dished out, then it's okay. Here's the final Dash for Cash points by 10. Brad Keselowski sweeps all the dollars, 150,000 big ones, and there he is with that beautiful trophy here at Memphis Motorsports Park. Well, we've got a quick moment. Let's talk about Saturday night, because ABC delivers 2 must-win games as we have number 3 Texas, critical conference showdown. They're up against Missouri, and some will see Oregon State take on the 7th-ranked USC Trojans. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Let's quickly get a word with our 3rd-place finisher, Jason Leffler. Mike?
Yeah, Jason Leffler finished 3rd, but considering how he's feeling, it's got to be a bit like a victory. Touch of the flu this week, but still you brought it home in the top 3. How would you assess the day?
It was a good day. I mean, it was a great recovery at the end. We stayed out on those tires, and the tires went off like a light switch, and we faded and came back, got 4 tires, had a couple good restarts there, and got back to where we deserved to run. Got to thank everybody at Braun. We've had a rough couple weeks. They've stuck behind me, brought a good car here. Everybody at Great Clips, and want to say hi to Charlie and Allison back home, and I'll be home in a little bit.
Well, guys, they went into this race saying they wanted to end the season on a high note. This is certainly a very big step in that direction. Jack? Marty?
All right, thank you, Mike. Let's get you caught up on our ticket to the race. We're off next week as the Nationwide Series takes its final break. That means 3 more stops, and all you have to do is log on to NASCAR.com/tickets. We'll be at Texas Motor Speedway October 24th, then at Phoenix International Raceway November 14th, and Homestead Miami Speedway on November 21st, where we'll crown the champion and close out the season. The celebration on the stage continues as Brad has already changed the check to 75,000 big ones. And let's talk about what we have coming up in store for the points, because Mike Bliss, a couple of weeks ago, we weren't even talking about him in the top 6. Now, not only is he 6th, fellas, take a look. He has a chance with the finishes he's had, back-to-back seconds, and now a 4th-place run. Look at this. He is closing in on that 5th and final spot on the podium.
You know, that's just amazing. Here's a guy that was 6th in points, got lost his ride, and now it's something like he don't even know if he's going to race what car in Phoenix. So poor Bliss.
It's just amazing how the race unfolded today. Justin Allgaier in the pole with a really good car. The handling goes away. He gets in a wreck and he loses a ton of points. Bliss was leading. He falls back. It's spun all over. But you know what? Bliss has really been a big story. He's doing a great job. Mike, you down there with him?
Yeah, we're catching up with Mike Bliss. And man, what an amazing story. 6 different cars this year. Still, you're encroaching on a top 5 championship finish. How have you been able to do this?
It's been stressful for my wife. I take it pretty good because nothing I can do about it, but it's been stressful at home. But today it's nice to be not happy about 4th. You know what I mean? I'm happy about 4th, but gosh darn, we had a good race car today. This Ridemaker's Toyota was strong, and it's disappointing to give away a win like that. But you know what? Finished 4th. I guess that's great.
Well, Marty, you know why he's disappointed with 4th? Because each of the last 2 times he was in the 11, he finished 2nd.
Yes, that's true. And his best finish here was 2nd. Let's talk about those young kids we talked about. Landon Castle finished 10th. De Benedetto finished 14th. Boswell 23rd. So that gives you an idea where the young kids that came out on their first ever nationwide start ended up here at Memphis Motorsports Park. Well, 14 total cautions. It's a lot better than 25 2 years ago. They'll have a report from Happy Hour coming up next. Join us in 2 weeks for Nationwide Series race action at Texas. That's Saturday, November 7th at noon Eastern on ESPN2. Coming up next, Sprint Cup Happy Hour from Martinsville with Dr. Jerry Punch and the entire crew. As we congratulate Brad Keselowski, the big winner, $75,000 today, and sweeps the dash for cash for $150,000. Quick final thoughts.
I just think it was a fantastic race. If you didn't like that race, well, you know what? You just don't like anything.
Well, Rusty, you probably didn't like the way your boy ended up. It was terrible. But you know what? There's another guy. Congratulations to Georgie Brunhauser III, won the Southern Modified Championship today.
So that's going to wrap it up from here at Memphis Motorsports Park. For Rusty Wallace, Randy LaJoy, Jack Arute, Rick DeBrule, Mike Massaro, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us here at Memphis. Till we meet again.